You're right there, Dean.
Oh my god! Did it work? Did it work? Are we here?
Yeah.
Oh my god. We made it, guys. We're
Right off
here.
the bat, right
And
off
I
the
can
bat.
see
welcome.
Mike in the middle bubble now.
Yes, me too.
You guys are all in your correct bubbles. We're all good. This all worked correctly. It's
I'm in a
unbelievable.
bubble.
I got my bubble.
Welcome, level uppers, to the very first episode of It Only Does PlayStation. This is the Level Up Network's dedicated PlayStation podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew Midori. I'm alongside the classy douchebag, Mike McLaughlin. There he
Say
does a face.
something.
A face is good. We'll go with a face. We haven't rehearsed this. This is new. We got the beast from the east, Dean Marchese.
What's up, PlayStation? It's on PlayStation.
And we've got one of the few times we've had Greg on like a 4-person show like this, Gregory Verga, aka GVZ.
I just want to say before we start the show that you invited me here. This was your decision.
We were good.
I did.
And also, right the bat, big ups to Drew, guys, for that intro video. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
nice job, dude. Who was that band? They're so good.
That is M83.
Yeah. they're awesome.
Oh, so good.
If you guys remember way back, like a year ago, not even a year ago, I did the 20th anniversary PlayStation video for Japan, and that used Outro by M83. And I swear to God, this was complete coincidence. It turns out that today is the American 20th anniversary of PlayStation.
Coincidence?
Yeah,
I think not.
Like what, 3 days ago? I think we said something about it on the show.
I did not know this. This was not planned. It just kind of happened that way.
Andrew said, guys, 20th anniversary PlayStation's coming up. I got this idea for a show. And we're like, damn, you really thought of everything, Andrew. And now here we are.
Well, I do make this show, Dean.
That's very true.
This is now the second show I've made. And there will soon be 3. We got Level Up Hangout coming in the near future too. And that's just going to be even more chaos than this.
I pray for everybody to
It's going to be all over the place.
I think what we should do here is kind of like a proper introduction. I think we could introduce ourselves just in case anybody doesn't know who we are on the show. And then kind of just say where you started with PlayStation. I don't want to go too into depth with it because we're going to be talking about PlayStation this entire show. But like, what did you start PlayStation with, if you know what I mean?
Ooh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like
so
what-
you
That
take
was
it
already
first.
I thought that was already a topic we had for later on.
No, it's not. It's not a topic of
Yeah.
later on.
Okay.
Mike, we'll start with you. Introduce yourself and how did you get into PlayStation?
I am the noob gamer. I'm Mike McLaughlin, and I got into PlayStation, I think, PS1. Everybody else getting all the other systems. My parents were always getting the system that nobody else got because it was cheaper for them. And I kind of got shoehorned into the PlayStation, but I'm very happy with it. I think I had Spider-Man just come around that time, like the good one, the first like original really good
Yeah, the
Spider-Man
one they had it on N64 also, that one.
with like one of the with like some of the first Easter eggs I got out of any video game was in that. Like
Yeah.
so many references, and Dragoon. What was that? The Thing. For some reason, that was like my favorite. But anyway, yeah. So I got in around then. Crash Bandicoot, all those things were awesome.
I agree. How about you, Dean? Where did you start with PlayStation?
Same deal. PS1. I was on, and I was getting really into the Tony Hawk stuff, and then my parents, God bless them, just trying to be helpful, were like, "Yeah, this plays everything that you already have, right? Here's a PlayStation." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, great." So like, I just started playing Tony Hawk on there, and then all the old stuff everybody got into. Crash Bandicoot, like Mike mentioned. I did have the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man games, all that good stuff, and then just fell down the rabbit hole. It stuck with me, and then PlayStation 2 was like my primary system, and that was really when I was like started getting into like the PlayStation exclusives, and I was like, oh, this is a thing. This is like something I want to stick with here.
Yeah, sure. And Greg, I'm kind of interested with you because you're the younging of the group, so I'm not sure where you actually started with PlayStation.
I started PlayStation 1 too. It was the first console I had saved up enough money for, mowing lawns and shoveling snow around my neighborhood.
Is that like
and
child
I got
labor? Is that legal?
it basically.
You're
at
really
that
young
point.
for that.
12 Years a Slave was always my life. It's actually my autobiography. But when I finally saved up enough money and I made my mom take me to the store, and I'll never forget the first game I ever bought for PlayStation 1 was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and I played the crap out of that game.
And it was terrible.
It was the worst, best thing that ever happened to me. But I remember that was the first console I bought. And then, like Dean said, PS2 was really like my era of games, and that's when Kingdom Hearts happened and changed my life forever.
Kingdom
Hashtag-
Hearts was the one that changed your life. We're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts a lot today. And there's even
Ooh.
some Kingdom Hearts news we might be able to touch on a little bit later on that just released
Ooh.
yesterday, so that should be interesting. But let me kind of explain the format to everybody watching right now. We've got 31 people on PS4, and we've got 7 people on PC, which is awesome. Thank you for watching us, guys. With It Only Does PlayStation, this is the very first episode. The idea behind it is we're all going to bring a topic, a PlayStation dedicated topic. It doesn't have to be directly related to a news story. It could be very general, and that's kind of what we're going for tonight. And then we're also going to have fan submitted questions. We've already gotten 4 of them, and we're going to do those as well. And we do also have a trailer of the month and a few other segments planned as well. At the end of the show, we will be doing subscriber only chat for the last 15 minutes, just so you guys have a heads up on that one. And if you want, you can subscribe right now in preparation for that. So I think we're just going to get right into it.
Cool.
You guys good
Let's-
with that?
Let's
I've got the first topic of the night. All right, so I wanted to ask you guys, how do you feel about the current state of the PS4 firmware, and what do you think of the upcoming update? I'm actually in the firmware 3.0 beta. So I can actually comment on that a little bit more than you guys, but I'm curious what you guys think of the upcoming, update, and what now can they improve upon, considering they're kind of getting to that point now where most of the desirables are being answered.
I mean, first off, where the hell are my folders?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
I mean, it's been how long, and you've had it on the like. Here's my problem. It's been, this is going to be coming up on its 2-year anniversary, and we still don't have the same stuff the PS3 did. How the hell are you that behind on your software development that you can't at least deliver at least most of it? Like, stuff and everything like that. That aside, the basic stuff, folders, and it just, I don't understand how they're so behind on that stuff.
I agree. It's kind of mind blowing.
The one thing for organizational wise that I think that they need to get rid of is that line of stuff. Not so much even folders, because then going into the library and getting them and still having to start my PS4 and having to drag it all the way to the library line or yell at my PlayStation to where it doesn't understand me. PlayStation, library. That's pretty annoying for me.
I feel like that should be like a toolbar.
Yeah.
Icon, or like put it at the beginning, like how they did for Store.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't have it on the XMB. It's very weird. Or yeah, like you have it pinned to the front of it. That's the one thing.
Speaking of the store, how do you guys feel about the little tweaks they've recently made to the store?
I didn't check it out that much.
Oh, really? Yeah, checked out.
I like them. I think they're cool. I think they're still kind of convoluted. They did break them up into like the way it's laid out. It has like the subcategories, but you still have to go through the sidebar of categories to get to the subcategories. Whereas I thought they were just kind of going to eliminate that whole sidebar and just have it already broken down like that. So it's kind of like, it's still like menus on top of menus.
2 steps back.
Yeah, and like as far as like the state the firmware's in, I really expected, like, first of all, I tried to watch a movie off of a flash drive, which you can do now, but not easily. It did not go well. And I put it right into my Xbox One and it was like, boom, watching it, no problem. So that's something, and I'm a little disappointed that we're not able to use external drives as storage yet.
You can use, they have the media player, right? And you can use USB drives, but yeah, why can't we put in our external hard drives, have 4 terabytes worth of stuff on there, and why can't we just copy it directly to our PS4 like we used to do with the PS3?
Exactly.
We could put all of our music, all of our movies, all of our pictures. I think that Sony's working on it. I've read rumors and stuff like that the media player update currently is simply to hold people over, basically. It's kind of like, we know you guys want it. Here's a very minimalistic version of what we want to do, and in an upcoming future update, you'll get the whole deal.
Okay.
Right.
But what have you been liking the most out of being in the beta? Like, what have you gotten to look at that we don't know about?
By far, well, it's related to that, and that's the downside of the best feature. Communities, in my opinion, is by far the best feature currently in the 3.0 beta. At first, I was like trying to figure out how to put like our Level Up Network image and background, all that kind of stuff. They make it difficult. You have to use images off of your PS4, which is frustrating. So then I had to use the web browser, and I had to do like a picture share thing where I saved it to the PS4 and all this crazy stuff. So there's still definitely some problems, but the cool thing about communities is that it's a message board, basically. It's kind of like forums in a way, minimalistic. You only have one thread, but anybody can just go onto this thing and post things and get together in groups, create chat parties, create game parties. So it's really going to be a cool way for our community of level uppers to come together and share pictures and all this kind of stuff. The problem, as Mike was saying, is the mass message thing. That's a part of the groups that you have now. You can create favorites. We've wanted this for a while, right, with friends, because we have 1,700 friends on our PS4. Now we can create favorites. The problem is when you do that, it creates a group message as well. For
if you leave that, you leave the group.
Yes, exactly. Like, you left my damn favorites group, and now you're no longer in it.
Not worth it. Not worth it. Unsubscribe. I do not feel any regret about doing that.
But there's no one. It's not like it's like, everyone understands that it's like annoying. Like, no one's been messaging in it. I've stayed in it, and no one has said a word in there.
All right, I'll go back.
You're out.
Yeah, you're no longer allowed. We're kicking you out for good. No, well, let's get into what do they really need to improve upon now at this point. One of the big ones I know of is PSN ID changing. Is that a problem for you guys? Do you actually care about that whatsoever?
No, mine's my name. My name is out there everywhere, so I just feel like the people that screwed themselves over are the ones that tried to be like funny and didn't realize that PlayStation would grow to be something as big as Xbox and have names. Yeah, or like poop-filled toilet or something. Like that was your choice.
Yeah.
You have
I
to
do
live with
think
that
like
now.
the option, like it's. I know they can do it. First of all, I don't like this whole thing about like, well, we just can't do it. Like you can, they can. It's just a matter of when and how important it is to them. But personally, for me, and I would assume Mike also, because we kind of go by these names now on here, and I go by it on YouTube and Twitter and everything. Like I'm never gonna change it now. It's just what I go by. But
Mhm.
for
If you
other
had asked
people,
me
I think the
2
option
years
should
ago-
be there.
Oh,
2 years
yeah,
ago, I was planning
definitely.
to do it, but now it's like I can't.
Right.
It's not pointless.
It
We had a
just seems like
guy
missed
on the
opportunity for money.
show when Kristen and I were doing the unboxing. His name was
Mhm.
Philippinus.
Aw.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that
Actually,
popped in my mind
I
was,
want him to keep that because that's extremely clever.
yeah,
out of
I
all the
at first I thought he was a
trolls-
penis from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Turns
No.
out his name was just Phil.
Mhm.
Oh,
I'm not sure
okay.
where the penis came into it.
I thought it was gonna be like a play on Philippines. Never mind. That's
That's.
stupid.
I thought Philippines. You're
Wait,
not.
you guys
stupid.
ready for
Oh,
this?
see, my mind didn't go there whatsoever. That just kind of, I guess, shows where
No,
my
I
mind
would
goes.
it's a penis.
That's 'cause you're
Directly
not
with
with
me.
Okay, then what is the big thing we're missing now besides like media player stuff to improve upon?
I'm sick of folders. That's the biggest issue I have right now versus anything else.
I just want, as far as folders goes, like Mike said, I just want to be able to have at least just one folder. Like these are my most frequently played games. Let me put them there so I can just go in and find
Like
what I
have
want.
it kind of like the media selection where you have like you go to where the TV is, you drop down, it's like Netflix, Hulu, whatever. Have that for your most play. It's just like a most played game section. You go over there and bam, it's like 8 of your most played games or something like that.
Right,
And
and
then
I
the
know
rest
it's
of
like
other games in the line.
like the more often, like your most recently played games are all listed across the new cross media bar, I guess you could call it. But I like, you have to scroll endlessly. Like I just want a little subcategory where I can select which games are in there. You know what I mean?
The
Right.
thing that I think of, Dean can attest to this too, because we both have iPhones. I always thought it would be cool if they left everything the way, even if you were able to put like 4 of your main things, like on the iPhone, how you can bring down 4 apps and pin them to any page you go to. I feel like that would be cool to at least be able to put like Netflix or a game. I don't even need Netflix. I
kind
would
of
just
like
like my
throw
4
them in
most
your
recent
toolbar.
games. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That would actually be pretty, because that's the other thing, Netflix. You know,
Yeah.
I have to go over and I have to go over to my media thing, go down,
Yeah.
like have me, Netflix doesn't pop up and everything like that. So you have like a folder of not even just games, then like most used apps. So let's say you use live from PlayStation, you play Rocket League a lot, you go on Netflix a lot, and you go into the PS Store a lot. Bam, they're like right there at the bottom.
Yeah.
You can customize and make that your go-to
Yeah.
shortcuts for everything.
I think it's kind of like a very non-gamey thing, and it's something that the Xbox One has, and people kind of get on it about. But the voice commands, PlayStation has some voice commands, and they work fine for the most part. But Netflix is the only thing I really want to have voice commands. Like I would love to be able to jump into Netflix and not grab the controller and be able to say Netflix or PlayStation find, I don't know, Lost, whatever. It does episode 81, and it just go and play that. Like I think that kind of stuff would be cool. They could just add those little bit of voice commands as time goes on.
And it
Yeah.
sucks because they're kind of losing ground, because not only Xbox, but I mean you have Amazon that has that, you have now new Apple stuff that has that, you have a lot of other things that have it. They're the only ones that don't. Yet they're supposed to be this big tech company, and they're supposed to be on top of software and everything. So it's kind of disappointing that they don't. Even if they made like a small partnership with Google or something like that, just for something like, it would be kind of a really smart investment for them.
Yeah, I
they
agree.
do a lot of stuff that like they really just fell a little bit short. A lot of good ideas that weren't fully realized, and I feel like if they were to just go in and fully realize them and just finish them up pretty much, then
Mhm.
I'm pretty happy. I like the interface of
Yeah.
the PS4.
In some ways, I
Right.
think even though the PS4 is lacking some of the obvious things that like Xbox One has, some of the things PS4 has introduced this generation, like SharePlay, something I don't
Right.
use, but still I recognize how
I just
cool of
did
an
that with
idea that is.
Plus last night, he was trying to figure out a mission on Metal Gear Solid after my stream, and he was like, "I have no idea where the sheep is," and I was just like, "Share play it," and I just did it in 2 seconds.
I
So
did it
it's
with
handy.
Greg once. I was
Yeah.
playing Tomb Raider, and he was like, "How far are you?" I was like, "I don't know. How close am I to beating this game?" And he was like, "I don't know." And I was trying to describe it to him, and he like couldn't figure it out. And so I just
Wait,
like, "Oh, here, I'll just show
Little
you." real
side
quick."
story for this. This is how Dean described to me where he was at in the newly rebooted Tomb Raider. He said, hit the options button, went into the map and said, I'm at coordinates 172. I said, what the hell does that
Greg,
mean?
I'm very literal. You asked me where I was, and that's where I
Literally,
was.
Greg, your intention is to go to Google Maps and type
Yeah,
that in, just
like
see
what?
where that is.
I was expecting it to be like, oh, like I just got like the upgraded torch or something. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. He's like, I'm at coordinates 715.8.2. I'm like, yeah, I'll be right there. Like, what? I didn't know. What
I feel like there's one I'm missing too. What's the other like big PS4 feature that kind of came
Yeah,
out
did we
this
talk about
generation?
Twitch
like a
yet?
Twitch dedicated app.
Twitch yet.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes, that would be a good one for us.
That's essential.
I completely forgot about that. I wouldn't really.
We have YouTube gaming, so that's gonna kill everything.
God rest our soul.
Do you think that PS4 is going to have YouTube gaming exclusive for a while, or do you think Xbox is going to get a day and date?
I don't know.
I could see them
hard to say.
partnering.
It could have been like Sony was like, well, listen, we have a lot of negative feedback about not having a dedicated Twitch app. Let's go after YouTube gaming, and they went to Google for that, and it's like, all right, well, what games do you take? So it would have been a smart thing for them to do. Whether or not they did, I have no idea. But we haven't heard any rumblings about YouTube gaming coming to Xbox at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but going back to the Twitch thing, I don't think that's really a PS4 issue. I mean, I still think it probably has to do with Microsoft and Xbox having some type of like 2-year exclusivity agreement with a dedicated Twitch app. It's either that or maybe PlayStation actually prefers it this way, where you're directed to only watch PlayStation broadcast and they don't want you to see anything else.
Right,
Well,
and I think that's actually more what it is. Sorry,
This
Gregor.
podcast is gonna change everything, and they're gonna be like, it only does PlayStation. They need the dedicated Twitch app. A
Shoo!
shaboosh.
Where are you, Shu? He's watching right now.
It is pretty
Podcast
crazy.
Beyond.
Like,
Who were they? What?
it's amazing how they just are like kind of chilling on being like steps behind Microsoft when it comes to live streaming. Like it is very. I mean, like I know the Xbox One's voice controls aren't like that renowned, but it's as simple as like I turn my Xbox on and I'm like go to Twitch and then I'm streaming right from the app and I can do whatever I want, and I'm like, well, that's the best. And like I love PlayStation, and I don't expect their voice controls to like just be like, I don't think anyone's going to be putting any stock into voice controls anymore, but just to make it that easy, even with the controller, you know what I mean?
I mean, do you think that's because Sony is resting on their laurels right now? They're probably almost 2-1 ahead of Xbox One worldwide. Do you think they're just kind of like, we don't need to be that concerned with these things? Let's work on the things that we have in development, that we have in our mind, that are going to do new things, and we'll let Xbox, own what it's owning right now.
The problem with that is, it kind of rests on, if that's the case, then I'm very worried for the future of the system, because that shows that they're just like, all right, well, we're ahead. We don't need to try anymore.
Yeah, I would
And
hope
a
that's
terrible
not
state.
what's going on,
Right.
because that would be really shitty for them to just like be like, we're doing all right, let's kick back for a while.
Alright.
It reminds me of an old tale about the
No,
tortoise
don't-
and the hare,
No.
and how the hare thought he was winning, so he just stopped running. And then where
kinda
was
funny,
the tortoise?
'cause,
He passed the hare and won the race.
I was crossing the epic finish.
Jesus, this took a turn. Greg, I was gonna say something really important, and you just took it away from my mind. You
You're
sucked it
welcome.
right out.
I do that a lot.
Yes,
Dean
he
can
sure
attest to
does.
this.
I lost it. It's gone.
Completely?
It's gone. I had something I wanted to say, and I lost it, man. Oh, here's what I was going to say. I don't really think that's the case with PS4, that they're resting on their laurels, because even with PS3, we all know PS3 was a disaster at the beginning, right? It wasn't because they were like, oh, let's just take a backseat and not worry about things. They still like went all out and did crazy shit with the PS3, trying to put a Blu-ray player in there and all this other backwards compatibility, PS1, PS2, $600 because of all this stuff thrown in. It was because they were overconfident.
Yeah.
It basically is what happened with the
And that's
PS3.
why-
Oh, shit.
The Xbox One.
2-minute warning, guys. 2 minutes left in this topic.
Ah!
Wow, we
Metal
have
Gear Solid's happening. This is cool. I like this.
I figured we probably want to stay on track, right? We don't want to get too far
I
off.
was on a timer, Andrew. I'm getting nervous now.
Oh,
I
man, now
quit the
wanna-
show!
What?
I think Greg's quitting.
I would never. Please stop the nonsense. Wait, but back to this. I really feel like we can be nitpicky about this stuff because everything else is so good, and I think that's where we have to end on the firmware. Is like we're all okay with it, right? At the end of the day, like we don't have a problem with it to where we can't interface with it or can't use it at all. So I think nailing it right off the bat and coming out strong with this, like starting off with the firmware that they had right off the bat of launching PS4 and then getting consistent updates of good stuff. I think we can end in all agreement by saying that they're doing okay for now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not like I don't like log into my PS4 and be like, damn it, like
Yeah, exactly.
I can't stand this
Yeah.
UI. Like at certain, I mean, PS3, I like the UI, but it definitely was tough to navigate here and there. Xbox One, as far as I hear, is really a chore if you don't have the Kinect. Do you agree with
Yeah.
that, Dean? You're kind of the Xbox guy here.
100%. Yeah, I don't
didn't have the
even.
Kinect at all, and it was a bitch.
I don't even touch my controller until I'm ready to play a game, honestly, because it's just so convoluted. It's a goddamn mess, quite frankly.
So at
without-
least when it comes down to the game stuff, PS4 is doing pretty well. And they make it easy to get into a game. They make it easy to form a party, something PS3 was disastrous with. So they took some of that gamey stuff and they definitely improved there. It's the media functionality that they actually decided to kind of take a step back on, which sucks for somebody like me who loves to watch movies on my PS4.
same.
But, you know. All right. I think that's enough for that
We can
topic.
only go up from here.
Oh, sorry,
This
what
is
was that,
true.
Greg?
We can only go up from here.
I agree. Yeah, of course. I don't think they could become worse. I hope not.
I'm the positive one.
Not
I
unless
mean-
they want stock in Konami.
Oh.
They could definitely. No, I don't like. I don't like what you said, Greg. I choose to dislike that.
I think you should
They
knock
could
on wood,
definitely
Greg.
get worse.
What I say, you
They could definitely
dirty
get
man.
worse.
Yeah. All right. I think that is enough for that first topic there. And as I was saying, guys, we're going to be doing 4 topics, one from each of us. But then after each topic, we're also going to do one of your fan-submitted questions. We have 4 this week, and they are all really good. I'm really happy with the questions we got this week. So let's get right into that, I think.
Here's the mail. It never fails.
Nope.
It makes me want to my tail.
No way.
What was that?
It's, the song, you might have heard it. It was big on the 100 top Billboard chart. It
Well,
was-
you are kind of close. It is called Mail Time. So.
Oh!
All right. Dear, it only does PlayStation. Seeing as it's only just about done in the mass market, what are your thoughts on the Vita? Greatest games and for the handheld is also another one of his questions. This comes from Tommy B. the Ginger.
Tommy B.
The ginger.
Tommy B. the Ginger. Mike, why don't we start with you? What do you think about the Vita? We just found out there's the Aqua Blue one coming. Like,
Right.
are they still supporting this thing?
And that's what we were talking about the other night, right? It's just very confusing. They said, "Oh, it's a legacy system," and 2 months later, it's like, "Oh, here's a brand new one," and it's still $200.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, what are you doing? You haven't given us any brand new games from your internal studios. You tell us it's a legacy system, then you give us a brand new item and don't even give us a price. I mean, that's the segment of Sony that I think really has their head up their ass. For everything else, that's the segment of Sony that's kind of like a, pulling, I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that one. I
Yeah.
feel like they're taking advice from Nintendo at this point.
I hope not.
Yes.
Well,
Let's
I mean,
all-
tell me it doesn't sound like it. Tell me it doesn't sound like it. They're doing all this great stuff with the PS4, and then their other segment, they're just like,
Well,
wing
if
it.
anybody's nailing handhelds, it's always
I
been
was just gonna
Nintendo.
say.
So
I was just gonna say, if I wanted anybody to coach Sony on handhelds, I hope Nintendo's talking to them secretly. That would be awesome.
No, I don't think
If
they're
they were
coaching with
selling-
handhelds. I think Nintendo's like, you got the console
Do
market.
that-
Just
we'll
do
do the
do
handhelds.
this with the handhelds,
Yeah.
and you'll be good. Trust
Yeah.
me. You know, like
who else owns a Vita here? Am I the only one?
No, me, please.
Yeah, I
love
thought
my
you
Vita.
did, Greg. Oh yeah,
I
how
love
could I
it.
forget Sound Shapes? That's a debacle.
Hi, how are you? Trophy Wars Season 1.
I keep my Vita directly
Next
next
to my bed.
to my bed on my nightstand. Yeah, I play it almost every day.
Dean, how often do you play your Vita?
Almost every day.
Me too.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it. I get it's I like to wind down with it. It's
the reason
perfect.
why I get out of bed every morning.
No, it's right
Okay.
there.
Right.
It's when I'm going to sleep and like I'm not trying to like sit up and like get really involved. I
Yes.
just play for like a
Yeah.
half hour and then I go to sleep. And it's a
You're
good way
in
to
my-
end my day.
You're in my brain hole because that's exactly what I do. I hop into one thing for like a half an hour, especially when it's something like part of Tommy's question was greatest Vita games, right? Can we go down
Mhm.
that list real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah, sure. What are your favorite Vita games, guys?
Golden Abyss.
Okay,
Yes,
that's a great one.
yes. Except for the light functionality. That's the one thing that got me on that game. when
And I
you
don't
had to
like
help up to
I
light.
didn't like the scrubbing for the charcoal.
The scrubbing I could do. It was just when at night when I would play in my bed, and then it's like hold it up to a light, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
See, I'm
I
with
can
Greg on
do
this
it,
one.
but-
Like the scrubbing stuff doesn't bother me whatsoever because it takes 5 seconds and it's
Exactly.
something you could do at any
Yeah,
time of day. It doesn't
it's not
matter. You're
that
just
it bothered me. It's just that that was always my problem with the
Touch
Vita.
controls.
The gimmicks, I'm not about it. I like it because of what it does well, which is really play indies.
That said, though,
beautiful.
I mean, games like Tearaway,
I was
one of
just
Drew's
gonna- yeah.
favorites, really, made the most out of all the touchpad stuff and everything, and that's kind of why it's not doing as well on the PS4 as it did on the Vita.
I was just gonna say my favorite part of my Vita is my favorite game on the Vita rather was Tearaway. That experience was so personal and so amazing because of all the gimmicky stuff. So as long as you use the gimmicky stuff not in a gimmicky way,
Right?
I
Don't
think-
add it there because
Yeah.
you need to add it to a game that doesn't
Yeah.
have it originally. Make sure you build the game. They built the game around it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
something Media Molecule's always been great with is they
sure.
take those little features that nobody else wants to use and they're like, all right, how do we do this in a really, really cool way?
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree completely, Greg. Tearaway is definitely one of my favorites as well, and I love the ending to that game. The
Oh,
ending is
it's the
just
best.
spectacular, what they did with the end.
Almost
Another
a
one for me
tearjerker.
is Persona 4 Golden. And that's technically a cross-platform game that was on PS3 and PS2, I think, actually. But still, Persona 4 was my entry into the series, and I did it on Vita, and I realized how great an RPG can be on a portable system through that game, especially when you have a standby mode. There, I swear to God, every system, and thank God we're getting to that point now. Now the PS4 has it. RPGs are made for standby mode. Like they just be like, I don't want to go find a save point. I just want to like press a button, go into standby, and then the moment I turn my system back on, I'm right where I left off. Like that's beautiful. I love it so much. So I can't wait for Persona 5. I'm really
There's
excited.
a lot of stuff. I wonder if you guys feel the same, but like the Vita was really great for like there were certain games that like I could play on my PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3, but I would see them and I'd be like, that's something I'm gonna save for my Vita. It's something I want to play on my Vita.
Legacy.
Yeah.
Right. Rayman Origins, I really loved that. Guacamelee, I have on my PS4, but I chose to play it on my Vita, and I loved it on my Vita. It was a great game to take on the go with you.
Sound Shapes was my favorite version of it. Was on the Vita as well.
Killzone Mercenary, one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen on a handheld.
Yeah, I agree completely, and I never even played it.
Yeah, and I think that got the best reviews out of any non-side scroll.
It was competent, man. It was a competent first-person shooter. I had a really good time with it.
My problem was that I was surprised with how little support it got for the side scrolling. I mean, it got a good amount of support, but there's a lot of side scrolling style games and old school 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit style games that never got never made its way to the Vita that would have been perfect for them.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like that was actually a strength of everything else. When I'm looking at a game, like Rogue Legacy or what's the Shovel Knight, stuff like that. That's the type of thing I'm looking at. I'm like, I don't want to sit here in front of my TV and play it, but I love to lay in my bed right now and just smash the shit out of a guy with this shovel.
Here's the thing, like with the
chipping... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say with the Vita when they first announced it, the dual joysticks was one of the huge things about it, right?
Yeah.
And then I think like everybody, the moment they saw, they were like, "Oh my God, let's try and do shooters on this thing." And then you got Call of Duty Declassified, which was a disaster. You've got the Resistance game, which was another disaster. Killzone Mercenary got it right, fortunately, but BioShock never happened. It was supposed to, but it never happened.
Right, I forgot about that.
All these first-person shooters that were supposed to happen probably got canceled around 6 months in when people realized, shit, this thing is dead.
So let me propose a question here. What do you guys think of when, like, okay, so they're obviously not going to make any more big first-party Vita games. It's not going to happen. This is pretty much an indie place to play a game now. So what is a big first party game that you would have loved to see come that never came?
First party?
Mike, go ahead. Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, I'll say right now, I was one of those people that didn't want any first party titles to come to the Vita.
I was the same way.
Because when a first party game is announced for a portable like that, say it's like Sucker Punch or Naughty Dog, the first thing that pops in my head is shit. They could have been making this game for PS4.
Exactly. Exactly. That's where I fall down on it too. The one thing that got me excited though, out of all the rumors and stuff that we heard, was if Sucker Punch would have done, or like not even Sucker Punch, if another studio like Sanzaro or something like that would have gone over and done like an Infamous on Vita.
That was my
I think
Greg.
would have been perfect. I mean, look at Assassin's Creed.
I wanted like an Infamous, like a 1.5, like what happened between Infamous 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Mike. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say like Assassin's Creed Liberation did great on the Vita.
It did.
I sold a ton of systems for that because it had the bundle. So Infamous would have been perfect. I actually probably would have been a little different. I wouldn't want 1.5. I would have wanted like 2.5. I would have wanted to know what happened to the city
that
after.
Can't really happen because of the ending that's canon with Infamous 2.
Sure.
No, that's not true because there's other people.
Yeah, what anyone cares about, which we obviously saw with Second Son.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's true. Second Son's a great game, but I couldn't really. I don't know. Delson didn't grab me.
Big ups to Laura Bailey. We love
great
you.
Gameplay,
as Fetch.
Great everything. Awesome. The characters you could just not get behind.
You knew
at least not Delson.
You knew there was a problem when First Light, the DLC that came out for it as a standalone, was a better game than the whole game of Second Son.
I'm not gonna lie. No offense. Don't hate me. I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it either.
Dude, you guys are
what?
Well, I'm saying you're lucky, dude. I wish I still had that on my list to get to. That's you're gonna really enjoy that. The arena gameplay is awesome.
First Light was better than the entirety of Second Son. I loved First Light. I
don't think that's yes and no. The story, the short story that's told is better by miles. Fetch is just a more interesting character. Yeah. The gameplay as a whole, I liked playing as Delson just because of the variety and powers and stuff.
as great as this is, I don't think this is playable on Vita. And to get back to that, because I don't know of any internal games that I would want, but Star Wars Battlefront did awesome on the Vita, or not the Vita, PSP.
Oh, the PSP, yeah.
It did really, really well, and that also sold a bunch of systems. And I think, like, kind of even remastering on the Vita would have been amazing, especially with what's coming out this year and the support that they're getting. I mean, it's PlayStation, kind of highlighting all of it. I think they kind of missed the step by not remastering something, or even remastering the PSP one and giving it online functionality and stuff like that. That I think would have been a great thing to add.
To close off this question, I just want to say, like, I agree with like what you guys were kind of saying, where if a first party title or a Sony owned franchise is coming to Vita, give it to somebody like Sanzaru, give it to somebody like Ben Studios, or somebody, or even Supermassive Games now. They did a great job with Until Dawn.
Oh, so good.
The big core AAA big guys like Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog and maybe even Quantic Dream. I kind of want those guys focusing on console where they can shine. So that's just me. But that was a great question from Tommy B. the Ginger.
Yeah.
We spent like 8 minutes on that. So.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tommy B. the Ginger, if you're in here. We got 34 people in the room. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the very first episode of It Only Does PlayStation, the Level Up Network's dedicated PlayStation podcast. If you want to follow us, guys, please do. Hit that heart button live from PlayStation if you're watching from there, or if you're watching at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Make sure to hit that follow button there as well. We'll give you a shout out if you do. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in, of course, 60 seconds, guys.
Hit the heart button.
Commercials. This is official.
This is new.
I feel like we're beautiful. I'm not gonna lie.
Well.
Like, I love this. I love this. I love it.
Oh my god.
I'm so happy right now. I'm so excited about life in general, and I love this. And Drew, good job on everything as per usual. And I'm just proud of us. I love that we can do stuff like this and be fun stuff.
Greg always gets so like existential. Anytime
He always gets quiet too when he
Yeah,
goes like this.
he
I just
does.
think we're the best, and like I like where we're going and what we're becoming.
Just
and
feel like a
how
flower
we're
in a
working
meadow
together.
blowing in the wind right now. So zesty and beautiful.
Why is a flower zesty? You weirdo.
You tell me, Greg. You're the one with all the weird metaphors.
I never make them weird. Oh, no idea.
We got a follow from Gilder, I think is what the name was. Gilder or Glider? I couldn't see it, but thank you for the follow. Keep those follows coming, guys.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the first episode of It Only Does PlayStation. This is the Level Up Network's dedicated PlayStation podcast. You can follow us right now. Hit that heart button.
Beyond.
We're on Twitter. Oh, shut up, Dean.
Oh, we're
You
doing-
shut your damn dirty whore
Sorry, I
mouth.
got really confused for a minute.
The whole video's copyrighted now, you son of a...
YouTube flag forever.
It's over before it even began.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize my power here.
But we're also on Twitter, guys, at the Level Up Network, level spelled LVL. You can check out our YouTube for archives of everything, or Dean and Greg's. They're at the bottom of the screen right now. They do a superhero comic book nerdiness show called Power Up on every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. But if you want early access to that, all you got to do is join our Patreon at patreon.com/the Level Up Network. Even a $1 donation is enough to give you early access to all of our stuff. And then, of course, we do have Extra Life. We're trying to raise money for sick children throughout the United States. It is officially 60 days until game day, which is our 24-hour, 2 months gaming talk show marathon, where we're going to try and raise as much money as possible. So keep that ball rolling. Keep donating. We're at about $1,230 now.
Nice.
We're getting
That's
up there.
I'm
Okay.
excited for the game day because Just Dance will be out by then. Woo!
Steve, I say me and you, we grab a PS1 system and go to Tony Hawk.
Oh, that would be awesome, dude. I would love to do that.
When you brought that up, I didn't realize how into Tony Hawk you were.
Do you have a PS1? I don't have one anymore.
Yeah, I do. I can get one.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's
Alright.
do this. Greg, you're up with the second topic of the night.
All right, I'm going to read mine in a British accent. This is for you, Bradley. Are you all right? All right, here we go. Taking any existing property, which one of Sony's studios would you want to develop a game based around that property? So I'll basically give you like a scenario that I was thinking of in my head.
Okay.
Taking an established property such as like The Walking Dead, something like that, and taking one of any of Sony's studios. So this includes second party like Quantic Dream and that too. What would you like? Which studio would you like to adapt what already made property? So my first thought already was The Walking Dead and Naughty Dog to do that, because I thought of it kind of in the vein of Last of Us, kind of in that with the crafting system and stuff like that, scavenging for tools. I think they can open it up a bit more, and I would like it to be, this sounds weird, but I would like it to be a turn-based game, like turn-based combat.
Hmm.
Turn-based
not-
combat as like an action game?
Yeah. for The Walking Dead. I've been playing, I don't know if anybody's played this. I tweeted it out on our account the other day, but The Walking Dead or Road to Survival is a mobile game that just released by Skybound.
Boo mobile.
Boo this man.
Boo this man.
Guys, you're not. I'm saying take what's good there, mix it with what's
It's
big
mobile,
as
it's
The
not
Walking
good.
Dead, and give Naughty Dog that. I feel like that's a form.
You said the word mobile, so no.
My second was Star Wars and Sucker Punch doing them, just because I feel like they're good with mystical powers and stuff, aka Infamous, and I feel like they would be
like
really
that.
good with the Star Wars story.
Speaking of like Sucker Punch, that's what I have on screen right now is Sly Cooper, because I thought Zaru did a wonderful job
Decent
adapting Sly Cooper from taking it from Sucker Punch and doing their own thing with it.
time.
I think Sanzaru is a great studio, and I think that if anybody were to take Crash Bandicoot back from Activision right now, I think I would like Sanzaru to do it.
Get it done. Petition.
Petition?
A million signatures right now. Just do it.
Oh, I thought you said it was already done. I was like, wow. I was like, I didn't even realize this was a thing.
Like,
I
surprise.
said, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I honestly, it wouldn't matter. We'd probably get like 10,000 signatures and then it would die. But still, I really do think that I would love Crash Bandicoot to come back. Am I the only one, or would you
No
guys
way.
love?
That would be awesome, dude.
I'm more of a Jack and Daxter rooter rather than a Crash Bandicoot. I love
Yeah,
Jack
but
and
that.
Daxter.
But would
Because you have a
do
soul.
you not want to see it come back though? Even though, like, I prefer other properties over it, but would you not play a new Crash Bandicoot?
I mean, I would, but like I would
Alright.
rather see because Crash Bandicoot had its fan. Crash Bandicoot from PlayStation. I think they even had one PS3 game. I could be wrong.
No, it
No.
ended on PS1.
No, it was on PS2. I played.
No, it ended on PS1.
Okay,
No,
that made me sick.
there
The
was definitely PS2 Crash
yeah,
games.
the
There was a PS3
Cortex.
Crash game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It was called Crash of the Titans, I think.
Right.
Yes, it was terrible.
That's clever.
I have it in the video reel at some point along here.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, Greg. I agree. Jack and Daxter is actually one of my favorite series ever, and I actually like it more than Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Well, wait, don't talk about this because this is gonna go into my topic.
Okay, well, let's go somewhere else. Go with Greg's topic, Dean. What about you? Who's a certain developer you would like to take an existing property?
I thought of two right off the top of my head. I
Okay.
would like to see Insomniac do. After seeing them do, even it's not a PlayStation game, but after they did Sunset Overdrive, I would like to see them do like a really over the top like Deadpool game. I feel like that would be really cool, or like something like that. Even if there was like a Guardians of the Galaxy, I feel like they would do well. Just something like
Quirky,
weird and
yeah.
funny and quirky. Yeah, I think they would do really well with that. The other one I thought of was Naughty Dog to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be this, but something in this vein, like an open world, like Interstellar type of game, like space exploration, like quiet, kind of haunting.
So you
outer
basically want
space.
them to take the comic book from The Last of Us and turn that into
yeah,
an
pretty
actual
much,
game.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
What was
yeah,
that
but-
called? Do you guys remember the comic that Ellie would
No.
read?
Oh,
imagine if that was
I'm
like a
so
little
mad at
hint?
myself.
Can you imagine if that was actually like a hint of this is what
That
we're
would be
expecting?
crazy. I think they would do really well with that kind of like that like eerie atmosphere, like the cold quiet of outer space. I think they would really crush that.
I agree.
I love that idea so much, like so much.
Here's one that came to my mind.
Storytelling.
I feel like all of us, there's a theme to this so far. Everybody wants Naughty Dog to do something.
I don't.
Okay, well, for me, it is Naughty Dog as well. I want Naughty Dog to do a Lost game.
Oh,
that would be cool.
That would be
Because
phenomenal.
there's only one Lost game ever made. It's called, like, Lost, like,
Yeah.
Via Domus or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it's called. But it wasn't very good. But I would love to see, like, not the show. Like, go before or after, but take the mythology and the Dharma Initiative and all that craziness of Lost. And Naughty Dog, you know, they did Uncharted. They've already done kind of like a tropical island environment. And they also have The Last of Us. They have this experience with telling dark and really dramatic storylines. And that's totally Lost. So I feel like they would do an amazing job with a Lost game.
Just to step in here, Starlight was the name of the comic book from The Last of Us.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Proud of us. But yeah, just because there's so good storytelling. The one thing that I would get on for Dean is I'm afraid for them doing open world games, only because I feel like then they wouldn't be able to focus on the story as much.
Oh, don't be such a big baby.
Well, that's rude. I feel like also another one that I just. Oh, actually, let me let Mike go first, just in case I steal one of yours.
What the main one I would want is Quantic Dream doing something similar to the following, taking the following show and idea and everything like that, because the whole show is kind of about tracking down a serial killer, and they did phenomenal in Heavy Rain, and that's actually detriment of Heavy Rain is all the
Mhm.
detective work that they did, but
Yeah.
they didn't really let it shine. They kind of like did it in one segment, and they did, and it blended with the whole game, right? But they didn't really. They could have done so much more, and I feel like they had a lot more ideas that they could kind of run with, and they could apply that to the following. Because it's already about FBI. They already have access to all these new technologies and everything like that. But it would still have enough action. There's a lot of scenes that have fist fighting or gunfighting or anything like that. So it could be a really cool game. It branches into different stuff. So I feel they have, and there's multiple characters like in the newest season. I mean, I stopped watching now. The story got terrible, but it has characters that can die, and that kind of adjusts how you play, almost like an Until Dawn style, where not all the
Yeah.
characters have to live at the end. Same thing how Heavy Rain did it and everything like that. So I think that would be an absolutely perfect franchise for them.
I like that. I
get
like
into.
that. Supermassive, the other one I thought of would be like a cool thing in the vein of Injustice, the superhero comic line right now, and how if Supermassive, the ones that did Until Dawn, not every superhero could live, but they all battled each other. That would be right up my alley.
Greg, you perked my ears up there for a
Yes,
second.
I did. Oh, and I feel
So-
like that would make the battles even between like all the superheroes. It would even out the playing field because then you just have to make like split second decisions. There we go.
Yeah, I love
All
making
battle
split
each other?
decisions.
I love
that would be
split
right up my
solution
alley.
moves.
Greg, you perked my
But I'm
ears.
saying, like, let's say like Wonder Woman and Superman are in trouble. You're playing as Batman. You can only save one of them. Like, who would you pick? And that decides like the path that you go.
I'm
on.
not trying to ruffle any feathers and bring up sore subjects, but what if Sucker Punch did steampunk Batman?
Oh my god.
God rest our soul.
That
I think it would
dope.
be unbelievable. So I think.
Real talk though, that would be really cool. For
I
real.
think that would probably be the coolest thing.
Yeah,
No, I will want
so-
Sony Santa Monica handle a DC property. I feel like they have the combat that they need to have down for something like that to do really well. Just I don't know. I think it'd all be really cool.
I really want to see Sucker Punch do something totally random. Like I want them to not do like an open world game. Like I want them to do I don't know. Like I said Star Wars here, but like even that is kind of in the vein of like Sly Cooper, like this hero protagonist. I want them to do something pretty and bold. I want them to go insane. And I would like Sony Ben to do like a nice game.
I want to go back to Supermassive because Until Dawn, I think me and you, Greg, agree that's one of the best games this year. That game was just so much fun, and I want them to continue with that. I want them to do another horror game, but I want them like I was wondering like what is an existing horror franchise that would be most suited for Supermassive?
It Follows.
If
That's happening. That's
No,
happening.
Oh my
dude,
God.
I'm telling you, did we have this conversation? Was that on the show or did we have this conversation?
I think we just had it the other day when we were
All
setting
right,
the show up.
but it would be the funniest game. It Follows would be
You
the
literally
most
just
boring
walk.
game ever.
You would just literally hold up, and that would be it. It was basically like a patience game. Like how long could you do this? Actually,
Do you want to?
this would be a really good idea. Greg, you have a great idea for a mobile game. That's
Thank
what
you.
you love now.
Oh.
That's the only thing that you care about. You
Oh
have
my-
to put your finger down on the screen and continue to walk. And if you let go, the guy catches you.
I don't like
and then
that.
it follows.
And then it
Hey, mic drop.
one horror franchise that we've never had a game for, besides like as a cameo character, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I feel like if Supermassive was gonna do one, I think like something with Michael Myers would be perfect.
Imagine like picture this. Picture like Media Molecule and their new Dream game having like a Nightmare on Elm Street like world.
Well, I already
Oh,
feel like
that
that game looked like
guaranteed.
nightmares. So
Yeah, I agree.
That game's gonna have something like that
Wow.
already.
Wow, I like that. I want that Dream game. I don't know what the hell it is. I don't know what I can do in it, but I want it.
supposedly we're going to be getting a lot more information on Dreams at Paris Games Week.
I would like that.
That's the next
Wait,
big
when
one.
is that? That's I was just gonna say that's.
I'm pretty sure that's October because Tokyo Game Show is actually next week. I figured we'll talk about that this Sunday. Do some discussion and speculation on Tokyo Game Show, and then Paris Games Week is
TGS.
next month.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all said ours though, right?
Yeah, I think we're
Yeah, I
good.
think so.
Yeah, I like those. I still want Naughty Dog to just do something amazing.
You know what? I would like to see Sony Santa Monica get to do something outside of God of War for once. I feel like they don't.
Did you not
ever.
even listen to what I said?
No, I don't listen to you ever, really.
You're the most quiet of the group, Mike. Your mic is a little bit low, so sometimes it's a little hard to hear you.
I
No,
really
I said-
didn't. I really didn't hear
I
you. I'm
was talking
sorry.
About, no, when I was talking about the Steam Batman, afterwards I said that DC property. Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah,
have fighting.
just anything.
Just any of
DC,
them, because they
whatever.
have fighting down really well. They have the fighting mechanics and the group fighting in general down pretty well. And for something like Batman is one thing, but if you have like Nightwing, just like almost like a beat 'em type, Like that would be kind of cool. Something like that, something along those lines. I think would be.
Or
awesome.
like
yeah, for sure.
Batgirl.
I just want them to like. I feel like they're just the God of War studio now. Like, and literally anything, just even a new IP, whatever,
Wait.
dude. Just let them do something.
Wait, Dean, wait for it. Sony Santa Monica taking
Yeah.
over Justice League, fighting the Dark Side Wars. He has tons of minions that they can just bash into constantly.
That would be pretty cool. But I feel so I'm not gonna get it. Warner Brothers has their own studios. All the DC stuff is locked down. They're never gonna let that.
I
out
mean,
to,
you
like,
guys
a
do remember
studio.
though what Sony and Santa Monica was working on, right?
No.
Don't you remember the whole big crazy
Yeah, the
story about how
RPG.
the Stig, what was his last name? I can't remember. The guy that worked on
Stig
God of War
Asmussen.
3, he took that team and he started working on a crazy ass massive sci-fi opera that was supposedly Destiny, but the kind of Destiny that we wanted.
Mm.
And then because
the
of
one
how
that we didn't
similar they
deserve.
thought it was to Destiny, they had to start reworking it, and they were trying to like change the game into something different so that they weren't catering to the same crowd, and then it fell apart, and like
Wrapped.
all those guys got like let go. Like 50 to 75 people at Sony Santa Monica got let go because of that whole problem there.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is sad because I have a feeling that they probably thought they were making a similar game to Destiny, but what they had on their hands, I bet, was better than Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I imagined it to
Especially
be
with all
something
the
in the
stuff that
vein of
came
like
out.
Mass Effect. That's what I was expecting it to be.
Go ahead, Mike. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, with all the stuff that came out this week, I'm gonna guarantee you it was better. You know, they had they earned, or maybe not even. I mean, they had all the documents showing that they completely changed the story, you know, a year prior, and yeah, I feel like it was probably extremely similar at the time. Now it's probably much better, but that's because Activision is. I mean,
You were the angriest person ever last night during your stream.
I don't understand. Listen, if you are going to play a game, the reason I'm guessing you were talking about when I was playing the mission with those two people.
Yeah.
So I'm into this game and I haven't played this in a while, so I'm not I don't remember like all the stuff. And I went into the mission, I was like, shit, I had the wrong guns, I had the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
So I go to my menu and try to change it. I just keep feeling my controller vibrating. I was like, crap, I'm getting attacked. And I go out of it and I see this asshole just like banging into me, like, oh, you're not playing, you know, play the. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I took 5 seconds to go to my guns, and they were the worst people in the world. They're just
Well, why
terrible.
weren't you playing?
Well, yeah, it is what it is. I guess we have to shut up now.
No, that's a 2-minute warning. We don't have to shut up yet.
Good. No, I mean they were just, and then for the rest of the thing, I got, I kind of picked up the pace and everything like that. I got into it, and they were just all like the one more was just running into. But I don't know. I don't listen. I can't do incompetency. That's why the trash talk team was as good as it was, because we all did our jobs the right way. And if you are incompetent, you need to get.
I mean, it sounds like this guy just wanted you to play and you weren't playing. So.
Sounds like it's all on you, man.
Not really.
No, but what I imagined Stig's game was remember at the beginning when Destiny was first revealed, we were all like, oh my god, we're gonna like get into a party, we're gonna like jump into our spaceships and like fly the universe and like land on planets and find alien life and then like do like a multiplayer match and then jump back on the planet and
Andrew,
like
can I just say something real quick?
No, man.
Everything you just said is what you do in Mass Effect, dude.
You've told me this before. You've told me this before.
Greg, am I wrong?
know. I've yelled at him since the day I've met
You
him.
literally, you
Simple
land
Mass
planets,
Effect.
you use
Makes
for
me
resources, you go discover new life, you battle, and then you can just get in your ship and leave and go
Mass
wherever.
Effect is the series that Drew will probably never play and every day regret for the
It's
rest
so,
of his
it's just so funny because everyone's like, Destiny was just not what we wanted. We wanted this, and I'm like,
Oh,
the
play
game already
Mass Effect.
exists.
I
The game's
know.
already out.
That's what I'm saying.
Final note for me. I put this video into the trailer reel because I really want the Chrono series to come back, and I'm not sure who at Sony or wherever I would want to develop this game. I don't know. Maybe I don't know who would be good for a Japanese RPG but an American studio.
Greg.
Yes. Oh, I mean, is Square Enix like the States version? Is that a thing?
No, it's not. It's not at
Okay.
all.
No, it's not at all.
I'm like, they're just Japan.
I just want an American studio working on it though.
Because
Oh,
I think it would be really interesting to have just in the American culture. They do Western RPGs. I would like to see the two merge together. I would like to see somebody
I
who
feel
does
like that would have to
typically
be like
Western RPGs
Bethesda.
try to tackle the Japanese sensibilities, like turn-based
I mean-
battle system, the kind of melodrama you get in Japanese games, but kind of with a little bit more of that Western culture, like imbued into it.
Oh,
Is that-
Andrew, is there any way we're able to leave the 2-minute warning sound down? It seems like we're scaring the shit out of a lot of folks.
Um,
No can do? Just thought I'd ask.
not at this
Insert.
point.
Okay, that's cool.
Well, you know what? No, I can. I can.
Don't.
I'll turn down the volume on
yourself.
the media player, and then during our trailer of the week, I'll just turn it back up.
Dean ruined the entire show. It
I'm
only
just
does
looking out for
PlayStation Pro, right?
the folks wearing headphones. Who
Let
aren't-
them be afraid.
Yeah, I did see some people jumped and had the shit scared out of them.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's my goal in this. All right, I think that's enough for that topic there. Let's jump back into another fan submitted question, if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so next up here.
You're disowned.
Mail time.
There we go.
All right, next question. Dear It Only Does PlayStation, do you feel that the PS4 should have backwards compatibility? Sincerely, T Elk 111, aka Tyler Elkins.
Big ups
Good
to
question.
Tyler.
I don't think it's that simple. I think we actually even talked about this. So part of my answer was, going to be repeated from Sunday's show. But my thing is, no. And yes, at the same time, it's not a simple answer as far as that goes. Yeah, we have PS Now, and all Xbox is doing is really just emulating a game based on the authorization it gets from a disc. And there's no reason why with the PS Now service we can't do that either. I don't want to hear any more of this BS about it doesn't have the ability to read it. Don't give me that. Stop blowing smoke up my ass. Listen, I have this game. You have the software to authenticate it. You have it right there in your system. I'm looking at it. It's right there in my cart. So let me play the
They
game.
have no way to backtrack on this, though, is the problem.
It's not though. It's a totally different architecture. The system architecture at this
That's what I
point,
was gonna say.
it's not the same. They use different hardware inside. The guts are just totally different.
Right.
The memory is different. It can't read those discs.
No, that's so. Here's what I'm saying. So all Xboxes, and neither can the Xbox One. So that's the thing. So all the Xbox One is doing with its backwards compatibility is there's a verification strip on the disc, and it basically just ones and zeros. It's just authentication coding that says this is authorized. That's why you can't play if you burn a game of any sort, you can't play it because it doesn't have the authentication strip. So
Right.
that's all it's doing. It's just verifying that yes, you own this game. This is the authentication strip, and bam, here we go. And
Well,
that's
no,
kind of-
here's the question, though. We don't know this yet because Xbox One hasn't added their backwards compatibility. That comes in, I think, November, right? So when you put this disc into the Xbox One, is it going to recognize the game that you own and then allow you to download it? Because if it can't read it off the disc, then you have to have the data stored on your system.
Right.
But that's the problem is, what are they going to add all these games to their store, and how do they know that
Yeah.
you own the disc? That means somebody could
Well,
just
that's why
start passing
if you-
around
as-
discs, and everybody could just download it off the
I
store.
don't know if you've been paying attention to it then, Drew, because they're only adding 100 games right at launch.
Yeah, 100
Whereas-
games. Yep.
Right, and that's because it's only those 100 games that they're adding to the store, or the ones that are already on there.
I think we have to wait. I have a feeling. I
I
don't know.
argue that it's bullshit. I feel like, guys, we didn't think it was possible, but it is. I think they planned for this way ahead of time. I think they built the system into this and just wanted to have an ace up their sleeve, and I think they finally let it fly when they needed to, honestly, because it's just so like I don't buy that. They just came on stage where like they acted like they just figured it out backstage before they came out. They're
It
like,
was-
we can
Greg, go
do
ahead.
it all of a sudden.
Just to get back to the question itself, not so much the debate over Xbox or whatnot. Do we think the PlayStation 4 should have backwards compatibility? Yes, it probably should, right?
I
At the
think
end of the
it should.
day, I think it should have it. I think you should always have that option. I think it's stupid to not have that option. But
Well,
then you have to look at
You
it.
do have the option, Greg. You just
But
have
then
to
you
pay
have to-
for it.
Exactly. But then you have to look at it from two different standpoints here. You have to look at it also, we're getting so many remastered HD upgrades with trophies and stuff for all of our old Sony games, which we're all buying because they're obviously all doing very well. So if people are speaking that way with their wallet, then that's the way I think from a business standpoint, Sony's going to go, number one. And number two, do you necessarily as a gamer want that? I know me personally, I have such a big backlog already that new games that are coming out, I don't have time for backwards compatibility. So like, as a feature for me personally that I need, it's not that high on my list.
Well, let's go to GFN's
right.
comment here. He says, I've never been a backwards compatibility guy. It doesn't bother me either way. That said, it would have been nice to have it
Yeah.
for those who do use it. And that's
I
the
agree.
thing is, Sony, they put PS1 and PS2 backwards compatibility on the PS3 at launch. They had to add in the entire chipset from the PS2
Yeah.
to make that happen. And it
Mhm.
really raised the price of it. And through that, they realized, wow, this is not worth it. They
Yeah.
did the whole PS Now thing because they realized, okay, here's a way to take backwards compatibility for the people that want it and monetize it. And I guarantee you,
Yeah.
Microsoft had no desire to put backwards compatibility at Xbox One. It's PS Now came out, and then Xbox is like, we need a fan servicey announcement. Let's do backwards compatibility. And they had their fan servicey announcement. People flip shit, and now
Yeah.
nobody's going to care in like 5 months.
Really.
Because the thing is, Sony is probably right. You have backwards compatibility, you're going to use it for your like big favorite games maybe. I might have jumped back into like Final Fantasy IX or something just for a little bit. But overall, like I can't tell you too many games I really want to go back and play at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think Rick's comment
Nailed
pretty much summed up my feelings. I can say, like, would it have been nice? Sure. Do I really care? Not really, because I'm rebuying the games that I really wanted to replay anyway that they're remastering.
Exactly.
I think Sony was really smart with how they went about it, actually, as far as monetizing it. The one problem I have with Sony's program is that we talked about this, Michael, on the other show, if you have a PS1 Classic owned on your library account,
Right.
why should I not be able to get that game for free on PlayStation Now?
Yeah.
Right. The digital version, you mean?
The digital version, right. If
Yeah, I
I
agree.
bought it on PS3, like I have Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, Chrono Trigger, all these games, that were PlayStation Classics on PS3, they're in my library. And if those games are on PlayStation Now, I shouldn't have to pay anything. I should be able to just load up PlayStation Now and stream it for free.
You can play them on your Vita in bed.
That's true. I can do that.
With
Dust
the
off your
power
Vita,
of the
throw-
cloud, anything is backwards compatible.
Oh, the cloud. I love the cloud. At the end of the day, though, what are people going to
Is that
bitch
a cloud
about?
dance?
Is I think what it falls down to is, are you going to bitch because you have to pay $700 for a new console that has all the chips and processors of the past Sony consoles, or would you rather have a $400 PS4 that plays all the brand new PS4 games, and then you can get HD remasters of the games that matter to you?
I think that's a good way.
Really the question.
Go ahead, Mike.
That wasn't really the question. It was really the debate. It was more so, should it have it at this point?
Well, that's what I'm saying. At the expense of like a price point is what.
But again, that kind of leads us into talking about at the beginning is that they don't really have to. More so, I think overall, what they should do is implement it the way that Drew said. If you already bought it for digitally for the other systems, at least do it that way. That's the only way that I really see them changing anything, if they are going to change it. But I doubt they will at all.
Yeah, retweet.
Retweet. All right. That was another good question from TElk111, aka Tyler Elkins. Thank you very much for your question. I think now we're going to jump into our trailer of the month. This is going to be a tricky thing for us. We didn't have too much of an issue with it this month, but really, trailer of the month, the idea is we're supposed to filter through every PlayStation trailer that's come out over the last 4 weeks and really decide consensus what was our favorite trailer of this past 4 weeks. And I think we're pretty unanimous actually on this one.
Yeah, this one just makes sense, especially for our first ever episode. It's like the mascot of Sony himself.
Yeah, so let's get into it, guys. The trailer of the month, according to us here at It Only Does PlayStation.
Dun dun dun.
I forget what it is. Oh yeah,
It was a nice lift back there,
Oh, he's so beautiful.
but you got a lot to learn. You stick with me, and I'll teach you a few things.
No offense, but I don't even know you.
I don't like how you're looking at him.
My friends call me Sully.
That's really creepy.
Nathan Drake.
I just pre-ordered this yesterday. Very excited.
Me too. Pick up the blue boy.
Mr. Sullivan. And Mr. Drake.
Would you tell me what's so special about that ring?
It belongs in my family.
Describe
Mr. Francis Drake's motto.
Greatness from small beginnings.
Just what is it you're after?
It's just a little historical research.
Don't tell me you're buying into all that supernatural nonsense.
You love all this as much as I do.
No.
Nate, these guys are playing for keeps.
Yeah, so?
You would go to the ends of the earth for me, Nate.
Now what do we do? We jump?
Just don't ask him to.
Shall we?
You get over on all this. Cheating death.
But that's not how it will end. This is how it will end.
Sorry. Sully! We don't get to choose how we start in this life.
Had to try, maybe.
Real greatness.
Like this before.
It's what you do with the hand you're dealt.
Oh my God, where'd my camera go?
You're going all over the place, man.
I'm going all over the place. I've got to go down slowly.
You're a crook.
What do you want from me? I see great things in our future, kid. Great things.
Oh my god, I'm gonna make it, guys.
3.
I'm gonna make it.
I'm
gonna make it.
I'm so nervous.
There we go.
Landing NASA space shuttle.
Well, that took a turn. All right.
Wait,
So yeah, that was our trailer of the month. I think we can all agree that the Nathan Drake collection looks beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone's saying they got a black screen. I have the stream open. I did not get a black.
For the PlayStation guys on PS4, for some reason I couldn't get it to show up on the screen. It wasn't popping up.
Oh, you guys
Don't
should
worry.
be watching the video on twitch.tv/the Level Up Network.
Yeah.
Only view
Keep
the
this chat
resources.
open though.
Yeah, you guys should be watching on twitch.tv/the Level Up Network. That is the much higher quality stream right now in like every way. Like really.
That's what I'm doing, and then I'm keeping
Drop
the Level Up
the ball.
shows chat open. And if you guys want to be like the Beast NJ, you'll do it too.
So nobody's gonna do that now, you dirty bastard.
Greg, I'm
Wait,
trying to do a
listen.
good thing, and you're ruining everything.
In the Level Up showroom, though, we have 45 people. Everybody comment along with us while I ask the rest of the network crew this question. Which game are you most excited to play out of the collection? Uncharted 1, 2, or 3?
Ooh,
All of them.
yeah.
Okay, well,
That's
that makes
tough.
me sick, Mike. Because
What
you
did
haven't
Mike
played any
say?
of them. Mike said all of them because he hasn't played one of them yet because he's a dirty, not PlayStation fan.
Yeah, but he's gonna
bastard.
play them all. That's exciting as hell, dude.
Yeah,
Sick of
dude,
it.
I'm gonna. When was the last time you marathoned all 3 in a row?
Never.
I don't think
Oh,
ever.
I guess you're not an Uncharted fan then, because that's what I'm gonna do.
No, because I bought them at
Actually-
midnight, so...
I came in late to the whole franchise, so I actually did. I bought 1 and 2 just before 3 came out.
And Dean, that's because you were respectable.
Oh, thank
my
you so
God.
much.
So
I
you're
appreciate
basically
that.
calling me and Drew both pieces of shit, is what you're saying.
No, Drew has done his fair share of stuff.
So
What?
just you.
So let me
What?
pose this question to Dean and Drew since they've already played through. Which are you most excited?
God, I guess probably Uncharted 1 actually, Drake's Fortune, because that's
Yeah,
definitely
right?
had the biggest upgrade.
Yeah, I'm excited for curiosity reasons to play the first one just to see how big of a difference the upgrades made. But I'm so excited for those big set piece moments from Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
It was so good.
J
love everything
Voltage
about
and the
that game.
Bulldog Brad, I'm going to have to agree with both of you and Dean and have to say 2, just because that's the first video game that's ever made me cry.
Yeah, Arden. Well, I'm not a
You
baby.
sure about
so I
that?
didn't cry,
I
but-
know, Greg. I imagine you cry at a lot of things.
I
Everything.
do cry at a lot of things. Uncharted 2 is the very first video game I cried at ever in my life.
Why? It's
You
like
played
Indiana
Kingdom
Jones.
Hearts
Did you
for
cry at
3 months.
Indiana
Wait,
Jones too?
No, I'm calling bullshit because you
Cried
keep saying that
Ghostbusters,
you
Greg?
cried at Kingdom Hearts, and you clearly
I
played. Kingdom-
never, no. I never cried.
Yeah,
in Kingdom
no, you said you
I cried
cried.
because of Kingdom Hearts. I never cried playing Kingdom Hearts. The first video game I ever played. and
What does that even
because-
mean?
Like when Kingdom Hearts is coming out, like when Kingdom Hearts 3 news happens,
Greg,
I'm like, oh
Greg,
my
this is
god, I'm
bullshit. It's
none of it's bullshit. The first video game I ever cried at, guys, for all the fans, because that's all that matters, is Uncharted 2, and I cried like a baby.
Well,
and it was-
let's go to a quick commercial break, guys. 60-second commercial break. We'll be right back. Just hold on tight.
Mike might not come back after the commercial break. I'm going to
so
kick him out of
three-
the show.
Greg, I
3
was
is
just gonna tell you that I
underappreciated.
love you.
I hated that.
We're pretty far behind, so we're gonna have
You're the
to
one with the 2-minute warnings.
quicken it up a little bit, I think.
I think for the fan questions, not so much our questions, but for the 2 remaining fan questions, we could just go like bing, bam, boom.
Yeah, we'll have to get those a little quicker. Those are supposed to be more like 3-minute answers. You know,
We
not
can't
8-minute.
forget the subscriber only chat either tonight.
Yeah, I
It's a
know.
work. It's a work in progress. It's going pretty well for a first stab at it, though.
I
I
like
think.
this. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, we're not having any like stutters. Like Skype's working.
No.
You guys look good.
Oh
We
My
got 41 people hanging out with us right now.
We got 50. Oh, okay, never mind. It said 53 on my PS4, but
Yeah. Wait, so the best part about my life is that Max Mattis says Nathan Drake is a less attractive Lara Croft. That's rude. And then Solo Flip said my man crush is Greg Verga. Do we love Solo Flip?
Solo Flip, we
No.
love you.
Solo Flip!
Greg loves you.
Rick said he's never cried from a game or movie. He's come close, but I'm not a baby like Greg. Sorry, I'm a true
Greg,
human.
wait,
I've
Okay?
never cried from a
Greg.
game. I've teared up from a movie. I haven't full on cried at a movie.
See, that makes me sad. I feel bad for you guys that don't
Yeah.
cry at
Thank
things.
you, Drew.
Why
Thank you.
I feel the same things you feel. I tear up. It's just not enough. It has to be real for me to full on like let tears go.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's like at the end of the day, I can't like I understand that it's a movie.
If I die, damn it, and you don't cry at my funeral, I
See,
will
that's a
never stop
real thing though. But
That's
like,
what
Something
these
I wouldn't
characters
do.
become to me because I'm such a big PlayStation
If
fan.
it's a
That's why I'm
game-
on this show, damn it.
if it's a game or a movie, like, you know, I've gotten tears in the scene at the beginning of The Last of Us. I got teared up. But like, there's always that barrier that's like, this is a game.
Oh,
You know what I
Brad,
mean?
another good point. I cried at David Tennant's death in Doctor Who too. Spoilers. For
Spoiler
Doctor Who.
alert.
I think
Okay.
that's really.
Welcome
bring
back,
up.
Level Uppers, to the very first episode of It Only Does PlayStation. This is the Level Up Network's dedicated PlayStation podcast on the second Wednesday of every month, typically at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We did an early start this month because Gregory here has to go into work. You better make a lot of money tonight, Greg.
I gotta make that money. That money.
But guys, you can follow us live from PlayStation right now at twitch.tv/LevelUpShow or hit that heart button in the bottom left-hand corner. We've had a few follows so far. We had Real AK47, Crazy Doggo, Gilder, and C Santos followed during your stream as well, Dean. So thank you, C Santos, if you're still here.
Cool.
Keep those follows coming, guys. And we're also on Twitter. We're on YouTube. Got a Patreon if you want to really support us. And extralife.org/participants/the Level Up Network if you want to help support Children's Miracle Network Hospital, support sick children throughout the United States by giving them video games while they're in the hospital. All right, so we're going to continue on with the third topic of the night. This one comes from Dean.
Oh, that's me. So my topic of the night is, if you could define PlayStation with just one game, what would it be? Everything, just the whole PlayStation brand, all the PlayStation consoles, everything. If someone's like, what is PlayStation? One game you tell them to play.
Can you start then? Because I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah, I will start it. Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time.
Ooh,
I
a
played that
PS3 game, really?
It's not I'm not saying it's the first time that it happened, but I'm saying it's the time. It's the time that I thought the machine really showed its power. Like, the graphics were beautiful and it had that PlayStation feel. It's like when you watch a Disney movie to me. When I play Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time, it's like I feel like you can just feel it's a PlayStation game. Like when you watch The Lion King or Hercules or whatever, you're like, this is a Disney movie. I can feel it. It's the same thing for me, and like, it just works on so many levels. It brings me like back to all the old school, all the other Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter, all the older PlayStation stuff. So that would be the one for me. I think it's a good mix between old school and new school PlayStation, and that's my choice. Yeah.
Right off the bat, we have The Last of Us in the chat room, Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, Sly Cooper. Go ahead, Greg.
You guys are all picking the wrong one. So now that we're done with all the BS,
there's no wrong answers for you, Greg.
Nope.
Done.
Yeah, I think you actually picked the wrong.
See,
answer.
I don't understand you guys, like how you're going with PS3 games that you identify PlayStation with.
Because it's like I said, it's the culmination of the old stuff and the new stuff.
Yeah, but still, like, being a kid is when you really attach to something.
I was more attached to Nintendo when I was a kid.
Okay, that maybe explains it then.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, my first game on PlayStation really essentially was Final Fantasy VII.
Shocked. This is my shocked face.
Shaking my head like I know what's coming.
No, but have I ever explained to you how I played Final Fantasy VII for the first time?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
All right, so my cousin Ed, he's like 10 years older than me or so. He would like babysit us, if you want to call it that, during the summer. I was like, what, 8 years old at the time, and he was obsessed with this game. So he told me, he's like, you need to play this thing. I was 8 years old and he's like 17. He's like, you need to play this. So he brought his PlayStation over every day that summer and had me play it. And I just, like, it took over my life. Like, that was the beginning of not just like my obsession with Final Fantasy and PlayStation, but for games in general. Like, that started it all for me. So by far, Final Fantasy VII is the thing I attach with PlayStation. There's other ones as well that I'll go into, but I have to get that one out of the way because it's the cliche answer.
No. There's no other ones.
Another
non-game.
I mean, if we're going as far as like what defined how deeply we were into PlayStation, SOCOM. SOCOM 1 was it for me, and that's actually what my own gamer tag for that I made because of that. But I would literally, it was the first online multiplayer game.
Wait a minute.
PlayStation 2 was.
Do you understand the question really though? Because I feel like
maybe
SOCOM is a
not.
weird answer for this question. I'm saying a stranger comes from an island they've never played.
What language do they speak? What language do they speak?
What's PlayStation? Show me everything
But see,
PlayStation has to
and then
offer.
I started thinking about from what Drew said, what really got you into it. So, I don't know. I'm kind of convoluting it. I mean, to me, it started with Crash. That kind of but it's not really. I can't really say that defines it anymore because it got warped. And if that person then liked Crash and they go and play it, once they get to the PS2 area, there is
No, it's just one. That's the point. It's just one game. Give them. You're like, this is
Crash
PlayStation.
Bandicoot 1, and then realistically, the one that kind of set it off for me and was like, wow, I need to stick with this is Killzone 2.
Which is it? You only get one.
But
That's the question. That's the question. One game to define PlayStation. Either Crash or Killzone.
I mean, I guess Crash Bandicoot then.
I think that's a good choice.
So I can't say something besides Final Fantasy VII.
No, you can, but it's not going to count as your answer.
But I feel like I feel bad saying that because everybody knows my love for Final Fantasy VII. I'm wearing the damn shirt right now, for God's sake.
I mean,
like,
maybe talk about it a little bit less, Andrew.
Wait, can I give you guys why I picked God of War 3?
Yeah.
God of War 3, like when I played that on the PS3, there was never a game that I sat back before and like would just stop playing it and look screen and be like, oh my God. That was the very first game to me that did that, and I was like, holy hooker. Like this
You didn't have that moment though in God of War 2 at all. Like the part where you're running across the chariots, the giant horse chariots, and you're like, I stopped multiple times during that. I was like, holy shit, man.
I did, but God of War 2
that was
such
unseen
an
at that time.
awkward. I know, but
I had that moment 5 minutes into God of War 1 with the freaking thing in the water. That what was it? The basilisk or whatever? I'm not sure what that was, but the Hydra. Yeah, the Hydra.
The God of War series. So we
Shadow
can
of
all
the
agree on that.
Colossus would be a strong. That's another one where I was like,
Yeah.
marveled at the scope of that game. I was like, this is unbelievable how small they make
Well,
you feel.
that's why I said Killzone with Killzone 2 because it's like that was for what Greg did. I mean other games I sat there and I was like, wow, this looks great. And I remember bringing my system over to my uncle's constantly. He was always into gaming, but he stopped at like Nintendo. So like everything looked great to him. He's always like, oh, this looks great. Oh, and he's like talking about like the pixel faces of Medal of Honor, the original. And it didn't really count at the time. But then Killzone to me definitely. Like I remember, and Drew was actually the one that showed me it. He brought it over my house, and he showed me Killzone 2. And I was looking at what was his name? The Vasari, right?
The Hellgas?
Vasari, yeah, the commander.
In the beginning cinematic, the opening, and it was just like, holy shit! I thought that was a real person. That, and then from then on, it was just like everything in that game was. To me, what I loved about it. Like the visuals were great, the controls felt great, it was fun to play, stuff like that.
Roger06 has a good answer, and something that like I don't really associate as much with PlayStation anymore. It's still an exclusive and all. It's just a series that's kind of gone away. But back in PS1 days, Twisted Metal was the shit. Like
yeah.
Me and my buddy
That's
Frank
a good
every
answer.
day. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's funny because talking about all these games, there was never any one game that I was like, oh, I have to buy a Nintendo for game A or I have to buy an Xbox for game B. PlayStation did that to me more.
It's actually the opposite, and this is kind of what sucks for me, I guess, in a way, because you guys. I mean, Drew, especially, always knew. Like Drew was always, fanboy Drew to me. He always was, all about all in Sony's corner and everything like that. But realistically, it's actually was other systems that I was like, I need to buy this game. I need to buy this game. But at the end of the day, I had, PS1 and PS2 and everything like that. And I realized, now like some of the first party stuff is really better than any of the stuff I could have gotten on those other systems.
Mike, do you see how well I know you?
Why?
Do you see the video that's playing?
That's really funny.
SOCOM
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say SOCOM 2.
That's so funny.
That's actually really creepy because you yelled at me for giving that answer too.
I know you, man. I know the games that you were into back in the day. So yeah, I put SOCOM 2 in there. I had to.
A moment.
Any other answers to this? I think, did we all give our answers?
Yeah, I think everybody solid ansers.
A game as for a game I would show people that I would be like, this is a video game that defines video games.
You only get one, and you're
obviously,
so you need to settle on one here.
Kingdom Hearts. So.
That's your one. That's a good one.
See, I thought you were gonna say The Last of Us. Actually,
I'm surprised you didn't say Kingdom Hearts before God of War 3. That's
right,
weird.
That's really
just because when people come to my house in my bedroom, I have a red granite PS3 on my mouth. So always when people come down here, they're like, "What is that?" And it's like a George Foreman grill PS3. So they're
Yeah.
like, "What is this? Is this a video game system?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got God of War 3 with it." So that like is always a talking point for me with my friends. But as for like games I've shown my friends that they've fallen in love with as well that don't play video games at all, Kingdom Hearts would probably be my series that I associate with PlayStation. And I'm like, "Guys, look at this," and they're like, "Mickey is with that spiky head kid," and I'm like, "I know."
Here's a
Well,
question
real
for you
quick,
guys.
Someone actually brought
Go
up
ahead,
Star Wars
Mike.
game coming to it for me. Does anybody remember Jedi?
He goes silent the moment he tries to say it.
Does anybody remember? Nothing is what we heard.
I heard Jedi. Your mic
Mike,
cut
you're
out.
muted.
You're muted.
We can't hear
Still
you,
muted.
Mike.
Of course, he mutes himself the one time we need him to speak.
Well, it's something about
you're
Jedi
the
because
first.
there you
How's that?
go.
There we go.
You're good.
No, I said someone brought up Star Wars. That's actually one of the reasons why I kind of was happy my parents got the Star Wars PS1 because Jedi Power Battles. Does anybody remember that game?
Was
Oh,
that 4 players?
No.
Yeah. Well,
Had
two-
4
I'm sorry, it was
Jedi?
2 players, but 4 if you had the multi-tap, which nobody had.
Yeah,
wait,
no.
wait.
I
I'm gonna
played
look
me
up
and
the
my
cover
brother.
art for this game right now because I'm pretty sure me and Eric used to play this like every weekend, dude.
Probably.
honorable-
I played it a lot with my friend Pat. And,
On PS1, you said?
on PS1, and you could choose Qui-Gon Jinn. You could choose
Yeah.
whatever I can't remember the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
the
dude. That's
guy.
exactly the game I was thinking of.
If there
Oh my
was,
God.
I got a question for you guys. It kind of branches off of this, like things you identify PlayStation with, but more so like when you want to show somebody PlayStation. I know you just kind of say Kingdom Hearts, but when you really want to like blow their mind and impress them and try and make them say, "Wow," what
Yeah.
is the PlayStation game that you show people?
Oh, it's gotta be The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Or
Preferably
Uncharted.
the PlayStation 4 remaster.
Now,
That's
now it's The Last of Us. Before it was Uncharted. and
Yeah, no
before that
doubt.
was Killzone 2.
Uncharted 4 would probably be the one, but that's not how. If we're saying what's out now,
Or Tomb Raider.
I'm gonna go with Last of Us PS4 remaster. No,
Let's
doubt.
take a tally here. How many people have you shown the opening to The Last of Us?
Oh, wow.
Just
Oh,
Jen is the only one who saw.
Okay,
it
we got
other than
one.
myself.
Greg, how about you?
Oh god, so many people. Probably like 30. Legitimately 30.
31. Mike, how about you?
6, 5 or 6.
Yeah, I'd probably say I'm around there too. I'm probably around like 5 people or so, maybe a little more than that, maybe like 6 or 7, considering like
Do you
Kristen, my
go
parents.
to like public forums and just play The Last of Us in front of people? Or
Do
I mean,
I?
Greg, I mean. No, Greg, I mean.
No, well, when all my friends and I are drunk together, I make them play like Rock Band or Just Dance. So like they'll get into video games and they're like, "This is like
That's
what
not The
all."
Last of Us.
No, but listen, you wait until I finish the story. So they're like, "Oh, like this is what video games are. Like this is what we do." And I'm like, "That's weird." And then I'll plug in like an Uncharted and play like the ending scene of Uncharted 2, or I'll play like the beginning scene of The Last of Us, and they'll be like, "Oh my god!" The girls will leave my house crying, which usually happens anyway.
So
but-
when you're watching cartoons, you then put on Star Wars Return of the Jedi and show Darth Vader's burnt helmet.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're saying to me.
Basically.
The only reason Jen was with me when I started it up. I was actually sick. I was sick at home, and I finally started it up. It was during a snowstorm. My copy came just before the blizzard hit, so we were like shut in. And I started it up, and she was sitting there when she was like, "Oh, what's this?" And like we both just went dead silent, and I was like, "This is insane." And that was the first time like I really teared up like bad. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was just amazing. It's so
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it is. I agree. All right. Do we want to kind of take this opportunity to save a couple minutes and move forward?
Sure.
Cool. We can move into the next fan submitted question. How's that sound?
Sounds pretty good.
Let's hit up the mailbag.
See,
with
this
all
is
the
what you
fan
gotta not do.
questions.
Greg.
Like, just gotta not do that, you know?
Mhm.
That's not how it goes.
It's bad.
Okay.
Mail time. All right. So our next question. Let's see what it is. Dear It Only Does PlayStation. What is your favorite PlayStation exclusive series and why is it your favorite?
Oh,
Sincerely,
God.
GFN21. So this
It's
kind of is a little bit more concise than what we were just talking about. We've got our favorite games. So if you had to choose a series of games that is exclusive, still exclusive, it never went
Yeah.
away, still exclusive to PlayStation, what would it be and why?
Uncharted.
Infamous.
Uncharted. Interesting. That quick, huh?
Yeah, that quick.
Tell us why you think.
You, Mike, do you want to kick it off with Infamous?
Yeah, there's no other game that's been able to mimic what Infamous has done and to the scale. No other superhero style game. I mean, Batman is great in its own right, but is not in the same style that Infamous was. It was open world, yes, but the type of game that was Batman was more almost realistic and everything like that. Whereas Infamous had, you had powers, you had all these abilities and everything, and yeah, you had upgrades, but it was a completely different style, different way of doing it, and nothing visually to me. Like I like the cartoony, of it. I thought the story was great for both of them, and everything about it. Like I love the I don't know, there's just something about it that a charm that it has that I can't find in any other series.
I agree with you. Infamous is really hard for me not to say because obviously I love superheroes. Everybody knows that, and I really love Infamous 1 specifically, and I really loved Infamous 2. But Second Son just left me with something to be desired, and I feel like if I'm going with the whole series, Uncharted is, to me, I know a lot of people disagree, but to me, Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 is just like great all the way through. There's no weak points for me. Even 1, like I liked a lot. And I just think that series all the way through is just awesome. The story is awesome. The gameplay is great. The cinematics. It's just a beautiful series.
Out of the Uncharted games, I think my order would be 2, 1, 3. Out of the order.
Really, you put 1 above 3?
Yeah.
Really?
That's weird.
3 was very disappointing to me because it was beat for beat Uncharted 2, which a lot of people say is Uncharted 2 and the same for 1, but it's not at all.
See, I don't agree with that at all.
I don't agree, actually.
Uncharted 3 is so much different than 2. My problem with Uncharted 3 is that you could clearly tell they designed the game around the set pieces, as opposed to 2 where they wrote the story and designed set pieces to fit with the story. That was the problem with 3. That being said, the set pieces were unfreaking believable, and that's what carried that game for me. Uncharted 1 is kind of just... My problem with Uncharted 1 is that it kind of comes down to just arena battles. You're going from arena battle to arena battle with like a few cutscenes in between. It's still great, and it's basically a launch title. It's one of the best launch titles I've ever seen, actually. But I definitely think 3 is probably above it for me. This is a very difficult question for me because so many of the series that I tightly associate with PlayStation have gone multi-platform over the years. Metal Gear Solid, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy. Those are all technically multi-platform right now, even though in my heart, they're PlayStation exclusive. Like they always will be.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, especially Kingdom Hearts. Like that.
Yeah, I remember how pissed off Drew was when he found out
13 pissed me off especially. It doesn't typically piss me off if a game is announced multi-platform, but it really pisses me off if like 3 years into development, after 3 years of saying this is exclusive to this console and selling the console based on that announcement, like it really pisses me off if somebody backtracks on that. I think that's really shitty. And that's what they did with 13. And even more so, the moment they announced it as multi-platform, you started seeing the graphics going down in quality, and everything about 13 pissed me off. I still like the game. I just didn't really like the way Square Enix went about that. I'm okay with it now. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 announced as multi-platform, Final Fantasy 15 announced as multi-platform, so that's fine. But because of that, I can't name those series. So Uncharted or probably Jak and Daxter.
That was mine, you bastard.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, Jak and Daxter might be even higher than Uncharted for me.
Yeah, same. Jak and Daxter, that game, that was the first time. That was really because right after Crash Bandicoot, that was the first time Naughty Dog started to interweave their characters into one another. The charm and appeal of the first Jak and Daxter, the precursor legacy, is still like I like that game better than the second Jak and Daxter. Like
I agree with that.
So good, and then 3 put it above and beyond everything.
Do you think that series is like
yes.
The whole series is like flawless the whole way through?
2 was the only fault for me, but even though 2 was a fault in the series, I still don't think it dragged down the whole thing.
You see, I don't consider 2 a fault, just like I don't consider Uncharted 1 a fault. It's just you have different games. That's what I love about the Jak and Daxter series is, like you said, the first one is pure platforming levels, and then the second one was like Grand Theft Auto. Suddenly you're like going around a city and all this kind of stuff, and then the third one was like Rage or like Borderlands or something. It's like they did 3 really different things across that series, and they're all great games. With the third one probably being the best one, they ended on a high note. So yeah, Jak and Daxter is an amazing series of games.
We're gonna agree on this, Drew.
Nice, Mike. Did you say yours? Infamous? Was that your answer?
Yeah.
Infamous was. Okay. That was a good question. Very good question.
Yeah,
that one came from GFN21.
We love you, Rick.
We love you, Rick. Thank you so much for the question. All right, moving on. We've got the final topic of the night coming from the Classy Douchebag. Go ahead, Mike.
Hello.
So PlayStation has gone through a bunch of changes, and not that you really need it anymore, but if they were to go the route, I feel like it would be beneficial. And I kind of miss the days of mascots. So what would the ideal mascot for PlayStation be right now?
With this topic, I think I'm going to put the chat into subscriber-only mode.
Woo!
We don't have a ton of people in the room, but we promised this, so we have to do it. So guys, everybody in the room, don't feel like you need to leave. Everybody can still stay in the room and watch us, but the only people that will be able to chat for the next 20 minutes are the subscribers. So
And thank you for watching to all 64 people in the room right now. You're awesome. We love
Thank you so much.
Hit the heart button.
How many 60 fix, you said?
66. And we did get another follow from Job32X. There was also Roger086, Half-Life Klein, Crazy Doggo, Gilder, and Real AK47. Thank you for the follows. Keep them coming, guys. Hit that heart button live from PlayStation. So let's get to this topic here. Mascots.
Mike, start us off.
So I feel the only appropriate one is kind of obviously it's still an exclusive, and I think the reasoning behind it is twofold. A, it kind of brings prominence to it. But the main reason to it is kind of versatility and ingenuity of the system. Now, Drew has up a big plan, while Sackboy would be great. Realistically, my opinion is actually Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank.
That's a good
at
answer.
his disposal, he has all these different weapons that do goofy things. You go from literally destroying enemies to making them dance with a disco ball to turning them into chickens. And that's kind of PlayStation to me. You can go all super serious one day and then go and be goofy and make a level like a little Big Planet level the next. So I think that's completely appropriate.
That's a good answer. I like
Ratchet is a great character because, first of all, he's family friendly, which is always a good thing when it comes to a mascot. I feel like that's a very important quality in a mascot. That's one of the reasons I feel like Master Chief, for instance, isn't a good mascot. He's so associated with Xbox, but I prefer when a mascot is family friendly. But that's just
and Master Chief doesn't have an identity, really. Like, he's just a guy.
No one knows who he is.
Do you think we ever will?
No.
I mean,
well,
not to get too Xboxy, but I think we're gonna find out in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now that 343 has control, they're gonna do whatever the hell they want because they can.
Wait, so Drew, would your vote be Sackboy then?
I think I have more favorite characters than Sackboy, obviously. I mean, Solid Snake and all these kind of stuff, but they aren't that associated with PlayStation anymore. And as I said, they're not family friendly.
Yeah.
I feel like the great thing about Sackboy, and Mike kind of said it when it comes to Ratchet, is the versatility. If they really wanted to use Sackboy in the right way, it's just he is everybody. He's everything you want him to be. He can dress up as anything. He's adorable. You got a male and a female version, which is also very powerful. To have both genders associated with the mascot. So I feel like Sackboy is a pretty obvious answer.
I think Sackboy is pretty close already being that. I think he's like closer than any of the other ones to being the mascot. He's everywhere.
I think the only one that really I think is maybe associated as the mascot is Kratos.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which is annoying.
Which is annoying. I agree. He's just he's an asshole. So
he is. But even so though, I feel like I see Sackboy everywhere.
Yeah.
The one thing oh, sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
No, go ahead.
No.
Somebody do something.
No, I was gonna say the one thing that it looks like Sony's doing is they're kind of trying to incorporate this whole everybody is PlayStation type thing. And so they don't really, it seems like they don't really want one mascot. They want to show everybody that PlayStation is everything. So, one day it'll be the face of Kratos, and the next thing, it's going to be Joel from Last of Us, and then it'll be Sackboy, and then it'll be, Delson Rowe. And it kind of seems like they're going multiple routes. And I kind of like the way that they're doing it, just because it kind of shows, we don't care who you are and what you play. We want you to play with us. And that's kind of a cool message that they're sending. But at the end of the day, I miss the days of knowing Sonic was Sega and Mario was Nintendo and stuff like that. So
I think that's one of the things too with mascots is you so often are seeing these non-humanoid characters as mascots. Even though Mario technically is human, he for some reason right now I didn't look at Mario as a human. Is that weird?
No, he's officially not a human. They said that he's not a human being.
You're right, they did. So I'm right.
He's his own species, so you're correct in saying that he's not a human.
Bullshit.
I mean,
Nintendo came out and said that Mario is not a human being, that they're their own race and species.
I just mean that he doesn't look like a human. He's this tall, he's all stubby, he's got a huge nose. He doesn't look like a human.
He's Italian. Back off.
You all just described me, so that's
as opposed to somebody like Nathan Drake, who would be a great PlayStation mascot, but he didn't come into my head because he's just a human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dean, do you want to take who you would want your mascot to be first, and then I'll go on my rant?
I feel like Sackboy's probably the most family friendly. He appeals to all the generations. He's cute. He can, like you guys said, a great point.
Cute.
Whoever said this was a great point. He can become anybody. He can become anything. So he can represent all different games in form of medium. I think Sackboy would be a great choice. I really like Ratchet and Clank personally, but I know that's not really what they would go for. But
I feel like that's really a popular opinion. It kind of sucks because I feel like he is perfect for it.
yeah, I love even like out of the two of them, I love Ratchet. I just love Ratchet. I like his personality. He's cool. But
I think the problem with Ratchet, and it really sucks that this happened, is the oversaturation of that franchise kind of destroyed it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah, but
You and Greg, man.
I know.
I just don't want Greg to talk.
Ever. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, I feel like the only thing with Sackboy is that I feel like a mascot, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I feel like that's why Kratos got the first face, and I think that's why Master Chief did. Is that they'll have to have some sort of edge. Everybody wants to be edgy, And the cool thing about Ratchet versus Sackboy is Sackboy, he tries to be edgy, but it's still just too adorably damn cute, and you want to hug him when he looks mad. So, but with Ratchet, when he gets pissed off, I'm not gonna get up in his face when he has a gun in mind. So he has that edge, even as friendly as he is.
Real quick, some answers from the chat room. We had Sweet Tooth, Sly Cooper, Iota from Tearaway was just mentioned by Derek, as well as Knack from PS4.
Stop the show. We have the clear-cut answer.
Yeah, I think we know our answer now. It's Knack, guys.
As far as mascots we want to see, now that it's multi-platform, it can never happen. But I really thought like Sora would be an amazing mascot, especially because it connects with that universe of Disney. Like that would
Sora's
be so
human, right? Doesn't that go back to that? He's just
human, but that's what Drew was saying is like it would be cool to have a human mascot rather than like a like we're always worshiping these like weird creatures and stuff.
Yeah,
like
so,
why can't we worship
so why not worship ourselves? Because we don't do enough of that.
What about this guy, guys?
There's a reason we're on the top. Thank you very much, sir. And my second pick, even though I don't know what they're gonna do, if they're gonna make a Last of Us 2 or what they're gonna do, but I would really love to see Ellie be a forefront as a mascot of Sony. I just think that character is so label to so many people, whether that's male, female.
I really as well. I don't relate to her one iota. I'm a grown man.
See, like
she's a young girl.
I related to her in the fact of going through like such a stressful time. I don't know if like high school was the same for you guys, but, like,
that's a totally different thing, though. I feel like relating to a character doesn't really answer if it should be a mascot.
I'm not saying we're all going out and stabbing clickers in the throat. I'm saying like
that I do relate to, though.
You're right. I do that all day.
I just think I would really like to see Ellie or Sora. Those are my votes. As for a business standpoint, I think we all agree Sackboy would be the best one.
I mean,
I miss Spyro.
I had more interest in watching Spyro find the dragon than Ellie be a mascot.
Well, here's the thing. If honestly, from a business standpoint, I feel like Nathan Drake is probably the best choice because he's got honestly, because he's gonna have his own movie soon. And all this kind of stuff. He's
Sackboy kind of is already calling it quits.
See, now what do you think about that? Because so is Ratchet and Clank.
That's true, and so is Sly Cooper.
Right, which is why.
Is he really? Oh yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
And so did Noriko from Heavenly Sword, but let's forget that.
I miss Spyro, and I really want Spyro to have a comeback real bad. I love those Spyro.
Well, he's in Skylanders now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Nah, I don't want that though. I want Spyro the Dragon, like just straight up old 3D.
Like, and the toy they made for him, it looked awful too.
Yeah, I want that garbage.
It was terrible.
That was a good question.
Yeah, great question.
Great way to end the show with as far as our questions are concerned. I also want to thank some followers. We're getting a bunch now. Thank you to Simply Neutron. We also had 7 Years Die, Black Nova, Tribble Runs, XXTSSFX. That's another one from King Cobra right there. Thank you, King Cobra, Job32X, Roger086, Half-Life Klein, and many, many more. We got 80 people on PS4. We've got 6 on PC. Thank you for coming in. This is It Only Does PlayStation, the very first episode. Got some growing pains, but it's going pretty well, guys.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is fun.
I think this was a pretty cool way to celebrate Sony's 20th anniversary.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out, yeah.
It's too bad we're never going to get to do it again. This was really fun. I had a great time, but I guess that's when we're doing it again because this is the only day. It's 20th.
Dean, I've got some good news for you.
What's that?
It Only Does PlayStation is a monthly podcast.
Mind blown.
What?
Well, real quick, Abtis just resubscribed. Thank you so much, Abtis. Really,
Thank
really
you,
appreciate that,
Abtis.
man. That's amazing. But yes, It Only Does PlayStation is a monthly podcast. It's not weekly, actually. It's a part of the Level Up Wednesdays. So every second Wednesday of each month will be It Only Does PlayStation.
Well, that's
So
wild, and I like it.
it is wild. So you'll find us here, all of us, every second Wednesday. And then every fourth Wednesday is Level Up Hangout. Once again, all four of us. But that has no agenda. That's just going to be chaos.
God rest our
Yes,
souls.
it certainly
that
is.
show.
I'm very excited for that. Is that next week?
No, that's 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks. Yep.
We're Level Up Direct next week, and then we go to Level Up Hangouts.
Okay.
Another couple follows there. We got, who was that? CSRN or something like that. Thank you for the follow. Keep them coming, guys. Just hit that heart button live from PlayStation. And real quick, I have this in my video, and I forgot to put it up.
Dun,
Last
dun,
to know,
dun.
thank you for the follow. What about Parappa the Rapper?
Yeah.
Is he alive?
I never. Did you guys enjoy those? I never got. into
Nah, I
those
didn't.
games.
I
No,
hated
I
those
played at
games.
Pat's house, that was it.
I can't say I hated them, but I never had the inkling to play them by any
No, I
means.
hated
Yeah.
them. They freaked me out and they used to give me nightmares as a kid.
What about the guy from Bloodborne? Mascot?
I would have to say no.
Just
That's
a
even worse
straight
than Kratos.
Adult murderous mascot.
Knack and to the next question.
Too
You know
true.
what? Knack gets a lot of flack.
I agree
And
with you. I enjoyed that. That was that was good.
I nailed that, didn't I?
You really did.
I
like
like Knack. You know, for a launch title, I really had a great time with Knack. I thought it was a fun, charming story, and it had some good gameplay for the 8 hours that it lasted. We got one more mailbox question, so I think we'll get to that real quick, guys.
Mail
Time is like whatever, but like every time you got a mail time. Every time.
Mail time. Next question. Let's see what it is. Dear It Only Does PlayStation, do you guys think it is a good idea to have all of the PlayStation exclusive series go to other platforms? Sincerely, Strife Girl LP.
Mel, big ups to you, boo-boo. Do you, boo-boo.
Wait.
I mean-
so do we think it's a good idea to have them?
How would you feel if there were no longer any exclusives on PlayStation? Everything was multi-platform.
If
Well,
it was,
to
if
Xbox.
it was also the same with Xbox, like vice versa, I would be okay with it.
Here's where I'm going to actually argue that. So to argue that point, yes, I understand why you would say that. But what if we knew for a fact that there was no proof that it wouldn't affect Sony's fiscal outcome at all, and
That's
they
just
just did it as like a no, I know, but what they did as, like,
Hypothetically.
hey, you know what? You guys don't have your exclusives. Fine, you can play that game. We're going to be the bigger man here. Everybody can play all of our games. Congratulations. You know, kind of
Here's
like
the problem.
I can't think about it like that.
Exclusives, in my opinion, are the most important part of any platform. More so than the UI, more so than the usability, all that kind of stuff. Once you get into the games, that's what matters, is a gaming console.
Yeah.
And exclusives are what develop an identity to a platform. If you think of Xbox, you think of Master Chief. You think of Forza. You think of Halo. You think of Gears of War. You think of PlayStation. I think of Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, Kingdom Hearts, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Little Big Planet. You know, like those are what define a platform. And if everything goes to everything, what doesn't even matter anymore? You're just going to buy the lowest price console because in the end, unless like there's something so big software-wise as far as the UI goes, some feature like TV or cable box or something that makes it worth the extra $100. I think it ruins the industry entirely. I think it just, you might as well have one console at that point. The all-powerful PS, Xbox, Wii U, you know, whatever, the juggernauts.
Yeah.
I put up my preaching hands for you because, boy, you just took us to church. That
Yeah,
was
I think you
beautiful.
Take me to the
nailed
church!
I really do. I
Woo!
think you nailed it, dude.
Preach just now.
Like I was always, like last gen, for example, I was primarily an Xbox 360 guy. I played everything on 360, third party, whatever.
Sorry,
I always liked playing. Fuck you, 360 was an awesome
Oh
console.
my god. This took a turn.
360 was awesome, dude. I don't care what anybody. 360 was.
No, yeah,
For me, bud.
it was.
But I always had PS2, PS1. I never really got into PS3 until I found out about Infamous and then
Sure,
God of
yeah.
War 3 were the ones that I was like, oh, I got to get one of these. So then, well, you know, that's when I really got into PlayStation. I learned all about the exclusives and stuff. I was very late to the party on this because growing up, like I said, I was a Nintendo kid. But man, once I got into it, it was really hard to turn away, and then that's what did it. All the exclusives. Once I knew what the properties were that only belonged to Sony, it was clear cut, and I was like, I gotta go PS4 this gen because they have the games that I want to play. That's it.
Retweet.
That's the end of my
Retweet.
sentence. Carry on.
I really like
Good
the
answer.
fact. I really like
Thank
the
you.
fact though that, like Drew said, you associate all of these things with that console, and if there wasn't exclusives, like he said, they would just be the mega console. So
Which
it's
isn't
just
maybe a bad thing. I don't know, but
I think it would be a bad thing only because then there wouldn't be any competition, and
Exactly.
competition drives people in order to be more creative, to give us the weird games like now Dreams that we're getting. Would we ever see that on an Xbox thing? Like, would they have just scrapped that if there were too many people in charge? And I think it's better to have the different outlets. The same way you have like Netflix and Hulu Plus and Amazon Prime for all your streaming video. Like certain companies get certain things because it directs you to go there. If there was one monopoly everywhere, then we'd be a totalitarian government, and we wouldn't be having.
It's healthy
Damn.
competition too. It helps everyone to keep working and innovating on their product, and you need that.
sure,
Agreed.
yeah. I just wanted to comment on Derek's question real quick. He said, "What happened to the T-shirt show?" That is now the 5th Wednesday of each month. We decided to Level Up Hangout with something that you guys would like more, so we want to make sure that's every month. And we're going to do the Level Up T-shirt Wednesdays more sparingly, the 4 or 5 months that it happens a year.
Also, Bloodspatter wants to know, Drew, what the hell happened to the Journey Traveler as our character for the mascot of PlayStation?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's.
I
Very
mean,
upset.
he's
Here's the
definitely
problem with the
iconic
Journey
for me, but
character.
He got lost
The
on the journey.
character At the ending. His journey ended, and Sony's will not.
true.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
they
true.
all die. They all die. So
Spoilers, bro.
spoilers, bro. Took a turn.
Yeah, because Dean, you were so into that game.
I mean, I played through the end.
You're
I
the
wanted to see what
devil. You
happened.
never cry. You hated Journey and you hate life. You're
I
the-
didn't hate Journey. I just didn't. I'm just not a huge baby. I'm a grown ass man.
At the end of this episode,
Jesus.
At the end of this episode, I'm pretty sure we all agree that it was the worst gamer out of us all because he's never played Mass Effect. So.
Nah, he's played lots of stuff that I never.
Yeah.
I
played,
own
though.
Mass Effect. Does that help?
No, that makes it worse.
Yeah, I at least don't have the game.
You guys really.
I told you guys already.
know.
I haven't changed it on Patreon yet, but I think we should. I really think our $250 milestone, since we've now answered the milestone of adding new shows to our network, that's already been answered in multiple ways with Power Up and now this as well. We should make the $250 milestone that I have to marathon the Mass Effect series and stream
I think
all
you
of
should
it.
do it for Extra Life.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I feel like that would occupy way too much of extra life.
Yeah, but it would obligate you to play it because it's for the kids, Drew.
Well, it would also obligate me to play it if you guys get us to $250 on Patreon.
That's true. That's true.
So we need to.
I just
I'll
want you to
change
play it.
that maybe in the future. We need to have our Patreon meeting, and then we can discuss this.
Bad.
What was that, Mike?
I said, yeah, we need to have a few meetings pretty badly.
Yes, we do. Greg is going to be
Yeah.
here very soon. So
Like the one about kicking out Greg.
Shh, Dean.
My bad, dude.
he's right there, dude.
Sorry, guys.
He's to your left. Why don't you punch
Greg.
Greg right now?
I mean, that's the first time he's done it in like how long? An hour? So I mean, there's that.
Just kidding. I'm happy. This is my PlayStation face.
That actually wraps up our part of the show. I guess we got about 5 minutes left in the show. We could just go straight to comments now. I turned off subscriber only chats. Have we? I know you've had the chat open, Dean. Is there anything interesting going on in there?
Everybody's really excited to be back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Do you guys want to do rapid fire?
Rick says, Drew, you have to do the entire series. We won't let the stream die. I agree.
Retweet.
As I said, guys, Patreon, support us, and we'll do it.
You want to do a?
I mean, I really hope you understand. I don't mean to harp on it so much. I just know
You would
that
love it.
you're gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want
That's-
you to play something that you're gonna love. I care about you, Andrew, and I
Aw.
want you to play this fucking game.
This took another turn.
I need it. I need
Mike,
to play it.
I think you said you had an on the spot.
Yeah, kind of one that just came up, and I was thinking about it actually earlier already, and you guys kind of brought it up. If you guys want to do that, we can fill up the time.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. On the spot.
All right. So Dean, this might be a little more difficult for you. Greg, this might be way too easy. So keep your answer limited at like 1 or 2. But
Thank you.
name the strongest emotion or the first emotion that you had at a TV show or movie.
Oh.
Yeah. See, Greg,
First emotion.
the first like if you can remember the first one that you ever had, go that. If you can't remember that, try to remember the one that hit you the most, hit you the hardest.
I have an answer to this. I'm
Sure,
not sure if it was
movie.
the first one, though. But I have an answer.
I have an answer too. I'm not sure if it was the first one. But
Okay.
you go first.
I don't
I'll
know
go
if
first.
be able to answer that.
Have you guys ever seen The Green Mile?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how I don't know. I was probably like 12.
We were 10 to 12, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I was pretty young to be watching that movie. That's a pretty messed up movie in parts. Spoiler alert for Green Mile if you guys haven't watched it. Directed by Frank Darabont, same guy did Shawshank Redemption, two of my favorite movies of all time. But around the middle of the movie, you're learning I guess you would say the biology behind, electrocuting someone, and you know that you have to keep the sponge wet on the guy's head so that the electricity goes straight to the brain and the guy dies quickly. Well, the big asshole character in the movie, you grow to love one of the prisoners. The asshole guard decides that he wants to be just one of the worst people ever and not wet the sponge on this guy. And the moment, like, I didn't have to watch the scene. Like, that's the thing. The scene is grotesque and disturbing as all hell. But the moment I saw him not put the sponge into the water, I started, like, sobbing. Emotionally, like, I was destroyed. Like, that it came to my head, the idea, the thought that anybody could be that terrible, that they could do that, just immediately destroyed me. And I became, like, I can't even explain it to you. I just was destroyed.
That's so crazy. Do you want to know mine? Mine's a lot less. I feel like I can't top that now. Mine, this is so corny. I have a lot, but like the first one that I distinctly remember, my dad, God bless him, he's a great man for doing this, took me and my two brothers to go see Pokemon, the first movie in theaters. And when Ash and Pikachu at the end
slamming each other.
Oh my God, I was bawling like no other. And
Pikachu refuses to fight. That's
where he's just slapping him.
He's like Pikachu.
Pikachu!
That was pretty sad.
I was like 5 and I was crying in the theater. My dad was like, "What is this? Like, I don't even know what Pokemon are." I'm like, Pikachu.
Yeah.
Crying in the theater.
E.T. is the one that comes to mind.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. He leaves.
He's a sad one.
When he leaves at the end, huh?
No, I never, maybe because I didn't watch it when I was a kid, and I watched it maybe when I was a young kid. I watched till I was in, probably like 9th grade, 10th grade. So by that time, I was just like, all right, well, there was that.
Well, think about E.T.
Poet Society, that was another one. The end
That's
when
a good one.
When he leaves.
I
was really anything with Robin Williams.
I'm not gonna lie,
really
my
grabs
first
you by
one,
the heart, man.
I was 5 years old, and it was The Land Before Time at the very beginning
Oh,
when the mom and he's like sitting there, and the egg gets lost, and the entire intro is awesome because the egg's rolling around, and finally he goes there and he hatches, and it's the most adorable, cute little dinosaur ever, and he goes over to his mom and everything like that, and after the dinosaur fight, and he's just like, "Mom," and he's like nestling into her, and she's like, and I'm like, "No,
dude." What about My Girl when Thomas J dies from the bee stings?
What about The Lion King? And he drops Mufasa. I feel like that wins for all of us.
That's the worst one.
There's two for me that are very recent. Pretty recent. I shouldn't say very recent. The most recent was I finally got around to watching 6 Feet Under. Watch the entire series. And oh my God, I always heard, like, that was the one thing I always heard about that show, is that the ending will destroy you. And they weren't lying. That show is like, oh my God. If you want to watch a great show, that is one of the best I've ever seen the whole way through. And that ending, Dean, if you want to find something that will make you cry at this age, watch 6 Feet Under, dude.
I don't want to do it because then when I don't cry, everyone's going to judge me. And say,
if you don't cry 6 Feet Under, you got a black soul.
See, you're going to say, I'm not going to cry. And then you're going to tell me that I'm going to feel bad about myself.
The other one is Lost, of course. Lost destroyed me. And
I was gonna ask that. What about in Lost when what's his name dies underwater with, like, it's not Penny, not Penny.
Nah, it was the final episode, man. The last 20 minutes of that, and then the worst part of it all was I needed a vacation after that show ended. I could not stop thinking about the end of that show for weeks, and every time the song played, because I would always listen to the soundtrack, I would cry listening to the song. Like, I was so destroyed by that freaking ending.
I got really upset when for a really recent one, regardless of your feelings on the entire movie, but at the end, even though I knew it was coming, Amazing Spider-Man 2, when Gwen does hit the ground,
that was really well done.
And he comes down and he holds her and he's like sobbing, crying, and like you can just see how much like he really loved her. I was like, this is
and you knew it was coming too. Like, we both.
I was so sad.
Like, we knew the exact moment when it was coming.
Yeah.
Like, all right, it's 5 minutes left. It's coming.
Was so sad. I teared up a little bit, and Jen was like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "Almost. This is terrible." It was just so sad.
The best part of that scene was when the entrail forms.
Yeah, I like that scene actually a lot.
Going to like clasp her, and I'm like, "Oh, you're so close!" And then he got her. I'm like, "Wait, does she?" And then I'm like,
"Nah." You heard that head smack, and that was
yeah.
Oh man, because that was the thing. That movie is not not good in my opinion, but they did such a great job with that scene,
Yeah,
and that it kind of like almost a kind of erased how bad the movie was.
Yeah,
Best
they
part
really it was
about-
really big scene.
I think they nailed that romance. Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker, they nailed that in both films. Even in the first one when he spins her towards her and does like the kiss on the balcony. Love that.
Right.
scene.
Yeah. What a way to end a PlayStation show.
I know, right?
Hey, Spider-Man is Sony, so
Retweet.
we did something right.
Bring it around town.
I don't know how to wrap this up. I'm not used to this. This is new.
Say everybody go PlayStation, and then we'll just cut it.
Well, let me thank some people. We did get a good bit of follows
No,
throughout
you
the
don't
show.
wanna
Thank you to all these follows. We had Last to Know, CRSN891, King Cobra, 7 Years Die, Simply Neutron, Tribble Luns, Black Nova, XXTFSSF, Job 32X, Roger 086, Half-Life Klein, Crazy Doggo, and Gilder. Oh, and Real AK47. I sorry I missed that one too. Thank you so much for all those follows. Anybody else? We're about to wrap up the show. Hit the heart button live from PlayStation in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. We got up to 80 people on PS4. That's not bad at all. We got we got up to
72
10
in the room right now.
Yeah, we got up to 10 on PC. This was a great start. You know, this was the very first episode of It Only Does PlayStation. As we were saying, this is a monthly PlayStation podcast on the second Wednesday of each month. And we're always going to do it this way, where we each bring a PlayStation-centric topic, and we also take 4 fan-submitted topics. So don't forget, go on Twitter at the Level Up Network, follow us there, and tweet at us with hashtag IODP if you want to have a chance to be in next month's It Only Does PlayStation. This episode will go up on YouTube at youtube.com/The Level Up Show, level spelled LVL, as well as all of our other shows. Dean and Greg, who are with us right now, they have their superhero show called Power Up every week. Make sure to check that out. You guys are 6 episodes in, right?
7.
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
Hey, did you guys put last week's podcast up yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I couldn't
What do you
find it.
mean? The audio version?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Haven't had time. It's coming.
Okay. Cool.
Get around to that. Yeah, so it'll be on iTunes too and SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/The Level Up Network. We got Patreon if you want to best support the network and maybe get me to play Mass Effect. And then finally, extralife.org/participants/The Level Up Network if you want to support sick children throughout the United States, providing them with gaming entertainment during their stay in the hospital. We've already raised $1,230. We have a final goal of $5,000 this year. And that's going to be a big part of November 7th when we do our 24-hour gaming talk show marathon. So mark your calendars for that one. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a great
Greg will
time
be
with
dancing at some point.
Rick said
Probably the whole
good.
24.
Good. Now we're all sad. Thanks for the show, guys.
Yeah, we got a 10 out of 10 from Strafe Girl. Thank you so much, Strafe Girl. Lincoln, thank you for joining us. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. This was a great first episode, I thought.
Yeah, I had a really good time.
I had a good time as
Guys,
well.
And just remember, It Only Does PlayStation.
Oh,
No, that's not how we're ending this.
Oh, sorry.
shut
I
down.
don't want to
man.
do that.
I really don't know. What do we do?
Dude, I'm still going with my.
I
first
think we
idea.
all
It's really
freeze.
good.
I like Dean's idea. We all freeze frame and we all yell PlayStation.
Let's
Like
go.
Spear
at the end
Fingers?
of- Yeah,
Spear
let's
Fingers with
let's go.
PlayStation?
do the intro song again. We'll all just look up and to our right and left. Just like,
Like Brady Bunch.
Get out of here.
I think on the count of 3, Spirit Fingers with PlayStation.
Oh, I
Okay.
love it.
All right, 3,
Yeah.
2, 1. PlayStation.
PlayStation. so good, dude.
that was